disgusting.
It's really not.
Dude, I'm grumpy today.
Yeah.
Just that noise pissed me off. You know how you just get irritated for no reason some days?
Yeah. I feel you.
Gio, I've never let anyone do this before, but if you want to open the episode, you can.
I don't know how I'm gonna do that.
Okay. You just say, hey guys, what's up? This is episode 19. That's it.
Up,
and then Keenan will interrupt you because that's what he does.
My job is just to interrupt, basically.
This is episode 19. Welcome to
the Matburn podcast.
Matburn.
But look, Gio, check it out.
I don't want to do it.
When you kiss that mic, if you get really close and kiss that mic and you use a deep voice, yeah, you sound sexier.
Hello.
Yeah.
Josh likes to make a lot of weird sexual innuendos when he's telling people how to use the mic.
Everything's been very sexual so far.
Yeah.
What kind of couch is this?
Sex couch, bro.
Casting couch.
Anyways,
actually,
okay.
I got this thing for $40 on Facebook Marketplace.
Very nice.
It's actually very comfortable too.
Facebook Marketplace is the place to be.
That one though that you're in probably not as comfortable.
Oh, I like it. It feels like grandpa's chair.
It's the captain's chair.
You know,
You're higher than both of us.
Sort of like a nautical theme we got going on.
I like it.
Are we gonna hit play?
We've been recording, dude.
Oh shit!
It's just whenever you want to officially start it, you just go.
Sometimes I want to do it really fast, just so you can't interrupt me in mid sentence. Hey guys,
Awesome Ice Cube.
This is episode 19 of the Matburn podcast, and joining us today, broken eyeball face Keenan Cornelius.
Yep.
And the legendary Freakazoid, Gio Martinez. Clap it up, clap it up.
The freak. He doesn't sleep.
The freak who doesn't sleep.
He break dances.
Only naps.
He plays Smash. You still play Smash?
Yes, I've been playing a lot of Smash. The new version's pretty legit.
Yeah.
How about you?
No, not at all. But I remember when we first hung out, we connected over that.
I felt like
Smash Bros?
Yeah. I thought we really did connect.
But we never got to play.
We didn't, but our passion was pretty cool.
Yeah, because we both were kind of like nerding out over the techniques.
I could appreciate that you were nerding out on, Smash Brothers techniques as much as Jiu Jitsu techniques.
It's kind of weird how...
Are there actually Smash Brothers techniques?
Yeah, it's actually super complex.
Like playing the edge, like Jiu Jitsu guys?
There's edging.
Yeah,
there's literally edging.
I know, I remember.
There's edging and edge guarding and all sorts of different things you can do. I just think it's interesting how there's a lot of people in Jiu Jitsu who are kind of like nerdy like that. I mean, video games aren't really nerdy.
Gio, you're telling me you play with Kyle Terra a lot, huh?
Every night. I play with
Kyle Terra. Kyle are like video game homies.
Really? What do you guys play?
He only plays Fortnite. He's like obsessed with Fortnite, but he's really legit good. I play with a lot of people. A lot of people think they're good, but he's so passionate about it, man. Like, I'm sure if you see him coach before, you see how he gets all passionate about it.
That's just Kyle, yeah. I think he obsesses over everything he likes.
Probably even more in Fortnite, honestly. Like, even he admits it. He just like super obsessed. I don't know why. He just loves it.
That's just his personality, bro.
But I bonded with him through video games as well.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a connecting force, man. There's no better icebreaker than like talking about your favorite video game with someone.
I feel like if you could be getting paid to play video games instead of jiu-jitsu, would you do it?
No. Not anymore.
Can I do both?
You could do both.
If you could
I could do both.
If there was some like very clear path of like ascension through that career, maybe.
If you're just winning tournaments after tournaments, like smashing through, you're just like the best. Like hundreds and thousands of dollars every.
I don't know about you. I've completely grown out of video games in the last couple of years.
I don't think I ever can, man. I feel like it's just like it's like my homie I've been hanging out with since I was a little kid. And I feel if I leave him, I'm like a traitor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you'll come back.
No, that's the thing is you always come back.
Exactly.
You can stop for a while, but
it's that
a new game shows
ex-girlfriend. That ex-girlfriend you can't let go of.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel guilty sometimes playing video games. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, man, like, am I wasting time right now playing video games? But
that's why I don't play.
But why? Why do we think that way?
Is it any different?
It makes you happy.
Yeah, is it any different than watching TV or a movie or anything?
Why do you do anything, right?
Yeah.
But a movie ends after an hour and a half. The video game, you can fall into that and wake up
my
6
problem.
hours later.
I have no restraint.
Right.
Like when I get fully into one, I just like
obsess.
Well, I obsess in a different way too. In the same way that I obsessed over jiu-jitsu, I obsessed over video games, and it was more about less about playing the game and more about like studying it and like learning about it and like trying to figure out everything there is to know about it to gain an edge.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
So you like a lot of times I spend less time playing than I do just like learning about
watching
the game.
YouTube videos.
Yeah,
that's
like watching.
You watch YouTube videos for strategy tips.
Yeah, exactly.
I know people that don't play the game.
Fucking nerd.
I know people that don't play the game and actually just watch YouTube videos, some of my teammates, and I'm like, why do you do that? They're like, I don't know, man. It just calms me down, makes me feel good.
I feel like that's what all the little kids do at Autos. They sit on the couch after class and they sit on their iPad and they watch video gamers on YouTube.
That's it's a real thing. Twitch is like one of the biggest websites that exists.
Yeah.
Amazon bought it because it's so huge. If you think about it, people who don't do jiu-jitsu, what do when they come home from work? They play video games, man. They're not like, they don't have another
Actually,
hobby.
that's what JT does. JT always plays NBA on his Xbox or PlayStation.
It's just like a natural pastime that you arrive at when you're like, what do I do right now?
I love video games. I love Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation. That's my shit.
I never played those.
But man, I'll play for 8 hours.
Metal Gear Solid is super technical. It's a hard game. Have you ever played the original one from Nintendo?
That one's really hard.
I don't even think I ever beat it. It's just like, it's hard. You got to be super smart to beat it. And it's like an old school game, you know?
Some of those bosses on the original Nintendo games were hard as fuck.
Really, I feel like they were harder because you only have like one life. Now you have, it's more about multiplayer nowadays. Before it was like, you have a game, you got to beat it. It's like reading a book. You finish it, a new book, a new game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it was just a natural transition with the internet getting faster.
Yeah.
Because it used to, remember the struggle it used to be to connect with your buddies like 10 years ago?
It was like the dream to be able to play like with your friends when they're at home and you're at your house. That was like we're like, maybe in the future one day we'll be able to play with each other and people in Japan. And wow, look at these days.
Yeah. And now it's like, that's the only way to play, really.
Now kids don't even appreciate it.
Yeah.
Those fucking kids, they don't know shit about shit.
But it all just happened so fast, though.
It does feel like fast because I feel like we were in between all that transition, when there was like nothing.
Right.
And now when there's like everything available in the palm of your hand.
I think about this all the time. We got to live through the transition from analog to digital.
That's pretty hardcore.
I think that should be the start of a new era. Like, I think they should start a new calendar.
Yeah, a lot of people are not going to be able to say they lived this era.
Think about it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about my first cell phone I had. It was
think about the history of humans, right? We lived through that passage from shitty analog and antennas and non-digital bullshit and to the digital age. And now the digital age took over everything. And for the rest of human history, the digital age will continue. And we lived through that.
Well, and
that's weird.
Of course,
that's really. I'm not even high. I'm not even high, but this is. I know it's a high person conversation, but think about that. It's like living in the year zero.
Well, that's why jiu-jitsu is evolving so fast too, is because just the speed of the internet and the access that everyone has. People can nerd out over it, like we were talking about. We do with video games. You can do it with jiu-jitsu more so than ever before. I was doing that with jiu-jitsu in 2006.
Yeah.
But it's like there was nothing on the internet. But I was
get DVDs.
I still never ran out of stuff to study. Back in 2006, I was like absorbing information and buying, books and watching all the YouTube videos.
I feel like breakdancing, b-boying, the scenes like that too, because before you couldn't find any footage. You had to go to like underground battles.
Bro,
you had to go to, some weird underground battle in the middle of nowhere to watch people breakdance and compete. Nowadays, you can watch any battle live stream online.
Do you guys do that? You guys study each other?
All the time.
Yeah.
Like I know every b-boy in history, he pretty much did influence anybody. It's like jiu-jitsu. So is it considered a dick move if you copy someone's move? If someone came up with an original move and someone copies it, does everyone calls them out on it? Yeah, dude, you're called a biter. A biter? That's the original term from the 80s. Like, you're a biter. Like, you bit my style. Like, you can never, like, in hip hop. Remember, b-boying is it's like an element of hip hop. Hip hop has 4 elements. MCing, graffiti, breakdancing, and DJing. And so if you copy like those cultures, if you copy like a DJ, if you copy their music, you're a biter. You're a biter. A graffiti artist, you copy their art piece, you're a biter. But at a certain point, don't those techniques become mainstream? And it's just like into everyone's style at that point. It's standard issue. You kind of flip it. You flip it. You learn like a move and you can flip it and make it your own way. Even if it's just a little bit different, that makes it your own move, your own way. So just kind of like jiu-jitsu. Change, yeah. Well, that's what I wonder, because in jiu-jitsu, you don't really, there's no copying of techniques. Like if someone uses a technique, you're supposed to copy it if it's successful. What's interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting. I guess because like in b-boying, you want to be considered like original dude. You want to be original. In jiu-jitsu, it doesn't really. I mean, it helps to be original, but you want people to emulate your jiu-jitsu, right? So I think Keenan wants people to play worm guard. Jiu-jitsu, yeah. Right? Well, I think I wouldn't want people teaching it.
Oh, bro, they teach it.
So you want to own it. You want to own it, right?
Well, I want them to teach it right if they're going to teach it. Like, I don't care if someone teaches it.
You really want people to teach your moves correctly?
I mean, I would, if they're going to teach it, they better teach it right instead of wrong.
I would say the opposite. If
someone to teach it wrong,
yeah, that way people come to you.
Well, the problem is white belts and blue belts don't know that they're learning it wrong. No one knows if they're learning jiu-jitsu techniques wrong until they learn it right.
Well, sometimes things are wrong, but they work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like someone be like, that's not supposed to work. That's wrong. And your term is wrong, but in someone else's perspective, it works.
So for a different body type,
different body types are just,
you got to tweak it.
People look at things different, dude. There's so many different perspectives in jiu-jitsu. Like we all talk to so many different people and everybody has the answer.
I shouldn't say wrong. I guess it's more like I've experimented in a lot of the positions that I see people trying to make work and teach, and I know that they're not really effective. So it's not that they're wrong. It's just that I know that those moves from those
tried it already.
Yeah, it's like it's not really effective. We got past that already.
There's certain things that just don't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Like how could you teach worm guard to a midget? I'm serious.
Yes.
Do we know a midget who does jiu-jitsu?
No.
No, I don't.
I was gonna make a super. Can I make a fucked up joke?
I mean, it's your.
Some people might get offended. You know, there's a lot of soft people out these days.
Yeah. I'm so glad
We're
that
in California.
I'm so glad that you publicly acknowledge it's my podcast. But I was going to say,
because I took the heat for the last one. Anything else that is said on this podcast falls on your fault now.
I was going to say Kyle Maynard's a minute.
Well, that's a good.
But Kyle would laugh at that.
Well, the thing about
that's why I can say that.
If you see all of the people who have disabilities in jiu-jitsu, a lot of them are able to grapple pretty effectively. Like guys with one leg, they still are in there. And I had a guy come to my seminar in Charlotte one time who had one leg, and I worked with him a little bit, just like during the drilling portion, to like figure out how we can make this work for him, you know?
Yeah.
And he was still able to pass the lapel, get under the leg, and like get some action from there.
What was the disability?
He was an amputee.
On one leg or both?
One leg, yeah.
Okay.
One of our students, Pete, he's a purple belt under me and Boogie, and he's a beast, man. I seen him put people to sleep, you know, at the gym. Just because like he just has super strong arms. He can't use his legs, but his arms are just like he just developed.
He's paralyzed.
Yeah,
from the hips.
Yep. And if you guys could watch his footage and stuff, you know what I mean? He's always around going to gyms and training with everybody, and he's always down to roll and stuff. So it's always impressive to see what guys like that can do and what they do, man.
I think those guys are super dangerous because they know what your jiu-jitsu is, but you don't know what their jiu-jitsu is, right? Like Kyle Maynard has his own jiu-jitsu and you don't know what that is.
Right.
But he knows what you're going to do.
I think it definitely takes like a special certain mind to do that too. You know what I mean? Like, and they get very creative and, you know, like they have to develop a unique style. And I think it's important for people to realize that you can adapt no matter who you are, really.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking about that a lot when my eyes were melting out of my head for those 2 weeks. And I
was like a toxic Avenger.
Yeah, I was in the dark in my apartment because I had such bad sensitivity to light. I couldn't really turn on lights or look at my computer or do anything. So I just sit there and just like think and like listen to audiobooks and just like what is happening? Like when is this going to end? And I just started thinking,
couldn't even look at your phone, huh?
I could like squint and like read a text maybe, but you can't like look at it for extended periods of time.
It's blurry.
It starts getting really uncomfortable. But I was thinking like, what would I do if this eats my eyeballs and I go blind? I was like, I'm in the right sport for that. Yeah. Like if I can still do jiu-jitsu.
Your jiu-jitsu would be okay blind.
I used to train all the time. That was something Andre started having me do. Back when it was just me, like early 2013, 2014, when we didn't have a bunch of like super high level guys yet. We would roll like blindfolded. You just close your eyes and roll, and it forces you to, you know, it changes your perception because suddenly you're not visually reacting to cues anymore. It's like you have to put like a 3D model in your head and kind of like
feel, right?
Yeah, it's like you're building an image in your brain as you like get certain grips and feel the different motions, and it's a really interesting.
It's like Daredevil.
Yeah, you start to develop sort of a different sense, like just a feel sense.
And then is it more acceptable if you accidentally grab their junk?
Here we go, John.
Oh, I'm serious.
Hey, I don't even know. What to say.
I was warned. I was warned.
Podcast
because Keenan's a notorious junk grabber.
I didn't.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Bro,
that.
You're always trying to grab the lapel and you always miss.
I've never done that.
That is not. Don't say never.
That's a joke that you make all the time. Ever since that first picture you posted of
Seattle Open.
It might be true, but
Keenan the dick grabber.
Hey, that's why we don't grab lapels in my no gi.
Gio took the gi off because he had one bad experience.
Have you trained in the gi before?
Yeah, I have like a few times. When I was a purple belt, I actually cross-trained with Cabrina a lot when I was a purple belt, and I was staying there. I went there like 7 a.m. in the morning, and I stayed the whole day a couple times. And some of their classes were gi. And then he's like, if you want to train, just put on the gi. They let me borrow a gi, and I just got to experience like Cabrina's gi stuff, you know. And it was really
annoying.
It was annoying, but it was like I could see why people like it. You know what I mean? I could see why it's enjoyable.
It's different.
You get creative.
Yeah,
you know,
different.
it's very creative, and I'm a creative guy. I like jiu-jitsu because like the art part of it. You know, I love being creative with jiu-jitsu, and I feel like the gi does allow that. You know, I just feel like for me, it's like there's so much already. Or at the moment, I haven't really understood no-gi that well. You know, there's so much to learn in no-gi that I feel like should I spend half my time in gi and no-gi? But I like gi. You know what I mean? It wasn't bad. Like the experiences I had with it.
Yeah. One thing that I thought was really cool that I've only really experienced training with you guys and the Danaher team is so much of my experience training no-gi is just training with gi guys who took off the gi.
Right.
But when you get into an environment where everyone is dedicated to no-gi, there's so many new techniques that I was just completely unaware of because it's been evolving in parallel,
right.
like going in these different directions where the gi style jiu-jitsu, kind of like the gi and no-gi style are similar, like
right.
use similar positions and it kind of stays very simple and basic. And you just think like, oh, I just don't have grips, but the moves still work. You just like knee cut and you try and pass in the same way and you try and play guard in the same way. And like with these divergent paths with you guys and then the Danaher guys, like, and then the inner crossings there as well. You guys are going like this with your different uses of techniques. When I was out there training, it was kind of opening my eyes like to just a whole different way to control someone, like not using these traditional concepts that I learned. And that's kind of why I'm reinforcing the American Jiu-Jitsu thing even more now, because I've literally seen it. And anyone who thinks that doesn't exist and that there isn't completely just American Jiu-Jitsu, there totally is.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of the stuff you guys do, no one else does. Obviously the whole 10th Planet system is like completely.
It's all American. I mean, obviously he got his black belt from John Jock, and you know, John Jock was really big on no-gi stuff for a while too, like the underhook game. You know, he wasn't holding lapels and a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah. And when he was in ADCC, he was like one of the most technical competitors of all time. Like I used to watch his ADCC footage and be like, that is how I want to grapple.
He still rolls hard. I trained with him recently, and he's still a killer on the mat. He's still a guy that's still like, his jiu-jitsu still lasts. It's still good nowadays, you know?
He was ahead of the curve.
Which division did he do?
I think Jean Jacques came up with a lot of modern jiu-jitsu techniques, like a lot of like the reverse De La Riva stuff and a lot of like the guard game that I've seen him do back in the day. It's like no one else was doing.
He's really strong with the overhook grip.
Was that? 77. Oh, 77. Thanks.
Really strong guy with the overhook. And, you know, he was really good at, like I heard a story about John Jock that back in the day, like his brothers, everyone used to call him like the turtle master because he was just so hard to submit. He had such a good turtle game, you know what I mean, back in the day, because probably developing his game, going up against his brother, it was probably super hard, you know what I mean, for him coming up. And then eventually he had to develop a very defensive game, and that's why he has such a, you know, no one could tap him out for a while. Like in tournaments, he hasn't really been tapped out. In videos, like it's hard to find anything like that, you know?
I got a question on that brother training thing. Who usually wins between you and your brother?
There's days when
you can plead the fifth.
No, there's days when I get on him and stuff. I'm not gonna lie, but like he just has if he grabs any submission on me, like he has that finishing power to put me out. You know what I mean? Like he
big brothers,
right? But sometimes I just kind of play like little guy technique on him and just be super technical and try to get like his back or something. You know?
You're the younger one, right?
I'm the younger one, but I started jiu-jitsu a little bit before him.
Okay.
I always tell everyone this, like I always had the edge over him in jiu-jitsu a little bit, but he learned MMA just so he could be like, well, I can still beat your ass. You know what I mean? Like,
he could punch you from 4 feet away, right?
Pretty much. Like I remember he moved away and came back, and I was already training like a few months at jiu-jitsu, and I was like, let's just wrestle. Me and Richie grew up wrestling because we were WWF, WWE fans.
Oh, for sure.
You know
Me
what I mean?
too.
So we would just grapple each other, Royal Rumble on the bed, all that shit. And he always beat me up. And then we came back, and we're older. I haven't seen him for like 2 years. I was training a couple months jiu-jitsu, and I took advantage of it, and I just put it on him. You know what I mean?
You didn't see your brother for 2 years?
He moved away.
Oh, he moved
away. He was like, he moved away to the Bay Area for a while. And we were both I was living like in Chicago. Then I moved back, and we kind of were both traveling at the time. We weren't really doing nothing. It was kind of like a transition point in our life where we're kind of like trying to
looking for the next phase.
Right. What was next for us? You know, we kind of felt burned out in b-boying, and I found jiu-jitsu, and that's when my brother came through. He felt it and he moved back right away. Like I think like 3 weeks later, he just moved back and committed full time to jiu-jitsu and just kind of went all in, dude.
Moved back to where?
To San Diego. Over here to Oceans. We're living in North County. That's where I'm from.
Okay.
We moved back to North County. I'm while he was living in the Bay.
Escondido?
No, like Oceanside.
Oceanside. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's always been your kind of home. Okay.
I grew up in North County, even though I'm originally from LA. You know, I grew up in like North County, San Diego area, just SoCal. I'm like a SoCal kid.
Got it. Same here.
Nice.
Born in LA, raised in Orange County, high school in Temecula.
Oh shit.
And then
Keenan's from
nowhere.
Where are you from?
I was born in Hawaii.
Hawaii. You're Hawaiian?
Yes.
You go back, do people accept you?
He looks super Hawaiian.
I never had any problems there with like that whole like if you're not from there and like the locals being mean to you. That's not really real unless you're surfing. Like if you're just like on the street, no one cares. It's only when you like snake their waves that they get pissed and you hear about people. So,
Do they call you Howley?
In Hilo, it's such a small town that I grew up in, and then when I went back when I was 16 and lived there for a couple more years, I was trained with BJ Penn, so it was just like no one.
You ever go back over there?
I went back a couple times, only like twice though since I moved away. I went for one seminar and once to just visit.
There's not that much nogi or just jiu-jitsu in general out there, is there?
It's very popular.
It's spreading.
It's like everyone knows about it and talks about it, but not everyone trains. But it's just because BJ's like literally the patron saint of
Because he's
Hawaii.
fighting everybody in the streets now.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to fight him in the streets. I don't know about you guys, but I was sad when I saw that video.
Oh, it's terrible.
I was just like, dude, I don't want to see him get laid out. Even though, I mean, maybe he was drunk, he got cheap, whatever. Who knows what really happened? Did you see him getting laid out by some random dude in the street?
What happened? He got hit?
You didn't see that video?
Well, he got in a fight a couple months ago.
I heard about it, but I didn't watch it.
He beat up some guy, and then he got in another altercation happened outside a nightclub, and he was like standing. The video is of him standing there with his hands down, telling the guy to hit him, and then the guy hits him and knocks him down, and he like.
But the guy is like a huge dude, you know. But
just caught him clean.
Like I looked into the story, and originally, like supposedly, like BJ Penn, like they fought like the guy like tried to pick a fight with him at a bar or something because there's like a picture, like a video of BJ Penn has his back and just like ground and pounding him. You know, it's like not a good footage, but it shows like BJ Penn just pretty much like just like flatten him out from 2 hooks and just punching him in the head.
So that was the first.
That was the first thing that happened.
Guy.
And the guy kept following him after, like, let's go. And BJ's like, I'm leaving. Everyone's like, let's go. And that's when he's like, what do you got? And that's when he got rocked and then got up or whatever. But then like a month before that, he fought like the security guard at a bar.
Right.
Like,
well, he no one's pressed charges against him, right?
I don't think no one will though. You know why? They're in Hawaii. You know what I mean? No one's
it's probably not culturally acceptable.
Well, that was the thing about
you're a little bitch if you press charges.
Pretty much, right? He got street justice though.
Yeah.
He went viral and his name got pretty much, I wouldn't say ruined,
but he didn't lose the fight. He
didn't matter. Like people were like, even though we're saying like we know what happened, like people over there don't know. They're just like, that guy just punched BJ Penn and knocked him out. We know what happened. You know, fights are fights, and sometimes if you're out in public, you're drunk, shit's going on, it's crazy, and you're not paying attention, and someone punches you clean in the head, anybody's gonna go out. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, for sure.
Yeah, and I think on the mainland here, street fights are very uncommon, and if they do occur, it's in situations like that, in like drunk people, like bar situations. But in Hawaii, it's different. In Hawaii, since
that's how you settle shit.
It's literally how you settle shit, and it's like kind of honorable the way they go about it. Like I used to see fights between kids that they literally square up, their friends all surround them in a circle, and no one is going to intervene until and then there's also like a mutual respect that like once someone is like clearly unable to defend themselves anymore, they let go. It's over.
It's done.
That's better.
Yeah, and what was cool is everyone there tries to use jiu-jitsu in the street fights, even if they don't train. But they're also aware of it, that they all kind of try the basics. They use closed guard.
They know a little bit.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah, they know a little bit. So it's like kind of a safer street fight environment because you know that no one's going to come and stab you or like pull out a knife, or their buddies are going to jump in and fuck you up.
Or keep hitting you after.
It was like always, and if you watch a lot of Hawaiian street fight videos or anything, they all are kind of the same way. It's very rare that it's like a brawl. It's just like kind of like everyone knows the rule, the code of honor in this street fight, and you just kind of go at it.
So do you think that's like acceptable? Like, do you approve of this kind of street justice culture?
I know
squashing beef.
Better than calling the cops.
I think it's better than a lot of the the other ways people solve.
Just say yes or no.
No, I'm not going to say yes or no.
Gio, yes or no?
Yes.
I say yes.
I think there's a lot more to it than that because every situation's different. And
there's always that dummy or that
of course
bully kid.
Exactly. Not everyone wants to fight.
Right.
Like just because someone says they challenge you to a fight doesn't mean the other person.
If it's accepted though, if someone challenges someone and the other person accepts, that's perfectly fine, right?
Right.
Like that's.
Do they have to fight?
I mean,
can you just say, nah, you're right, you win?
It's like there's a lot of social pressure in those situations because of the culture.
Pressured, yeah.
It's like these kids, they all have seen all this stuff coming up, and they understand that it's like if someone says this to you or gets in your face and wants to do this fight, if you back down, it's like you lost anyways. So a lot of times they'll just do it anyways. But you never know the interaction between the people beforehand.
It could be different situations.
Yeah, it's different situations.
But if you have a kid, like I don't have a kid, but if I had a kid, I have a bunch of kids I train jiu-jitsu, and I have like a nephew and niece that I'm really close to. But if my kid was in that situation, I would tell them, like stand up for yourself, because if you back down, that person that could follow you for the rest of your life. Like you feel like sometimes it's better to just back down, but like also letting people like bully you could be like the worst thing you could do, because you can always accept that you'll be cursed for the rest of your life.
I wanted to bring this up too on this episode about the kids getting bullied, and whether you think it's cool for them to stand up for themselves, or if the whole like go tell a teacher thing is the way to go.
I would teach my kid to stand up for themselves.
Scrap, right? Fight. My dad always told me to fight.
Well,
like stand up for yourself. Yeah. Like be ready. You know what I mean? Be ready. Don't be the guy going out there like just go punch a dude in the face and be like, that's what you get for talking shit about me.
Yeah.
No, don't start fights, but be ready to finish them.
Just self-defense, if someone is getting in your face and physically bullying you, or verbally bullying you, I don't think you should start a fight over it. You could definitely take steps to like tell the teacher. But if someone is physically like shoving you around and stuff, yeah, you have to defend yourself.
Do you guys think a lot of jiu-jitsu guys were like picked on when they were younger? That's why they train hard.
I wasn't in middle school. Well, because you're tall as fuck. No one wanted to fuck with your big.
You're always tall.
I was short. I was a small kid in middle school.
I was short too, but I had a big brother. He was tall. My brother was tall, so everyone's like, "No, that's Richie's brother."
Richie tall.
Well, he's Mexican, so some people won't believe it, but they'll be like, "That's Richie's brother." Like, don't mess with him. Richie was like big, but he was always. I told you this. He was always like protecting the nerdy kid. His friends were always the nerdy kids. Now they're like...
Really? He was the defender of the nerds?
Yeah. Man. He's like a big nerd. Like Richie, if you talk to him, if you hang out with him and stuff. And that's why like a lot of people, they gravitate towards him and they're becoming really close to him, or kind of like that kind of personality. I feel like he's always more attracted to those, like the freaks, the geeks, the nerds. And I just kind of like, he was always kind of like hanging around with instead of like the popular kids and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like everyone really is a freak or a geek, but some of them just get in line.
Too much.
They just like get in there and just want to be part of the norm, and trying to fit in like that is what makes them not embrace their own freakiness. Man.
I used to get fucked with a lot in middle school. Man.
Why would you get fucked with? Like, you're just small? That's why they want to fuck with you?
Yeah, I was small and I was like the only white kid in a very, very like ghetto ass neighborhood.
You're a güero?
I was a pinche güero.
Oh man.
Where'd you grow up?
La Habra. It's in Orange County. Yeah. It's right by Brea, Fullerton.
Yeah.
But it's kind of on the bad side of the tracks.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to get fucked with a lot, man. I used to have to run away from just groups of dudes that were trying to kick my ass.
Were you like fear going?
But I also had a big mouth.
You were just like, you didn't care. You just like, fuck it. I know.
If they said shit to me, I said shit back, and then they wanted to fight, and then I would run. It was fucking 5 of them.
Were you fast?
I was fast, yeah.
So you didn't do any martial arts as a kid?
No, this is why I started wrestling.
And did you do any martial arts as a kid?
I just did street martial arts, which is breakdancing.
American capoeira.
No, this is why I started wrestling. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Because I used to get fucked with so much.
You always did martial arts.
I've been doing martial arts since I was 4.
That probably gave you confidence.
That's probably why. Like,
that's why no one fucked with you.
I think if you kind of know that you know more than other people in like some sort of fighting aspect, like people can kind of sense that. Maybe
you know that. Like you don't want to mess with the guy that knows karate.
Right.
Well, that's the thing about people who do bully people when it's clearly an unjust bullying where they're just doing it just to fuck with you. They're not going to pick someone who has any rumor of like they might be able to defend themselves. So I think that's the most important thing for kids really is not to like they don't even need to know about having to stand up for themselves. Obviously they do, but if they are trained in any capacity, that is such a powerful thing, just subconsciously for everyone.
The confidence.
Exactly.
The image itself, even people knowing that person trains, right?
Right.
Like they're like, whoa, that guy trains whatever, martial arts. He does some UFC shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess with him.
Exactly. There's an instant respect and like sort of you keep your distance from that kind of thing.
I agree on that one and stuff. I think a lot of times my thing too is like lately I've been thinking about like the bully itself. Like, you know, it's like we're always trying to fix the person, you know, learn how to defend yourself and stuff. But like, we also need to like fix the bullies.
Yeah, fix the bully.
Like those guys have problems.
Yeah,
dude.
for sure.
That kid is a bully for some reason. Like how many, like, why should a kid that age be that angry?
Yeah.
To want to like hurt another kid. Like there's something going on deeper than we might know. You know what I mean? And I've been thinking about that more. Like I'm like, you know, you hear those stories where like this guy used to pick on me and then I got older and I wanted to show him what's up. But then I saw that he was just picking on me because his dad was like abusing him or something.
Right.
You know, how many times have you heard that story? So it's like, we always like teach this bully a lesson and stuff too. But it's like, is that really teaching him a lesson or just kind of, you know, kind of making him the next Joker?
Right.
I'm thinking it was a South Park episode, but you know what I mean? Like you could create that next villain, you know, you create that next angry person. And like the bullies, like they're bullies, but they're just kids too. They're just teenagers that need help. Maybe they need martial arts so you could learn some more like discipline and being around an environment.
Self-respect.
How many people you met, like they're just like, you know, they think they're all hard and then they come to jiu-jitsu and get humbled. Yeah. And then they're like, you see their true colors. Yeah, they're actually really cool people, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Bullies are kind of demonized like that as they're like just bad kids or something, but it always comes from something.
They probably
like
just have shitty parents. Which is why every kid should do jiu-jitsu if you have a kid.
It's like a family when you do jiu-jitsu because, you know, like I was talking to one of my students' wife and she's from Costa Rica and she was talking about how like it's hard raising her daughter over here because she doesn't have her family or her community around her. When she was growing up, like they always had people helping her mom. It made it easier for her mom to raise kids. You know what I mean? So like, like a jiu-jitsu school is kind of like that. When you're a kid and you go to school, like a jiu-jitsu school, people love you. They take care of you. You know, everybody becomes friends with you. You become like, you have like a second family. It's good for you.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
Not every jiu-jitsu school is like that though. Some of the cultures are kind of...
It's weird. It's weird for me to think like that. You know what I mean?
There's some fucked up jiu-jitsu.
Your gyms, you and your brother, I haven't been to any other 10th Planet gyms ever, but you really feel that community vibe there more than other jiu-jitsu gyms I've been to. What do you attribute that to?
I think that's like our number one like thing that we focus on is the energy, the vibe. You know what I mean? Like I want to go to a place that I could go there for 10 years over and over every day and not be like, what the fuck am I doing myself? What am I doing in my life? I love going to the gym because I love seeing the people in there. I love the energy people bring into the gym. I love just like, it feels like we're doing something productive with our community, with each other, and people appreciate it. And I enjoy expressing and sharing my art to people that appreciate it. And this sacred art that I didn't even create, I just learned it, you know, this jiu-jitsu, you know, and we all love it. We don't care what kind of background you're from, who, you know, where you come from, just come in here, bring in good vibes, good energy, and the rest just happens. People get good at jiu-jitsu, people have fun, people get in good shape, people meet cool people. There's so many different things and opportunities that gyms like that create. So we want to make sure that people come in there feeling good, feeling happy to be there, because that's they're paying money to be at the gym. Yeah. They want to learn and stuff, but a lot of them, they just want to hang out and be part of a community.
That's what most extracurricular activities are about. It's like someone has a job, they spend all their time at their job all day, and then they leave their job. You don't want to hang out with your coworkers. You don't want to hang out with your boss. You know, you go find an activity to do, and you meet new people, and you have new friends, and
it's good for you.
That's what it's all about.
In creating that culture, there's always going to be someone who doesn't necessarily fit into it right away. Right. Have you ever had people leave because they aren't part of the culture, or do you find that the culture that you've instilled in your gym kind of converts them into that mindset?
Some people just don't fit in, you know, in our group.
It's not a cult, Keenan. You can't make people fit the culture.
Well, I mean, a lot of people can come in with preconceived notions about how they're going to act, or they just act in a certain way. And then when they get into the environment where all the people are doing something different from that, they can kind of absorb into that and sort of just become that.
Some people just like, don't. No, that makes perfect sense. But I feel like naturally people, like, they just kind of take themselves out. You know what I mean? It's not even like naturally you're just, if you don't fit in, you feel that energy, and it's not like I want everyone to fit in. I want to make everyone feel comfortable. Some people just, they don't want it.
This is the beef cake issue in every jiu-jitsu academy. Like when the guy,
what's that?
The meathead, not beef
Beef
cake.
cake?
Meat,
Like
the meathead. That guy comes in, the meathead. And like he's either going to have to learn how to fall in line to the culture and chill out and like stop trying to be a meathead and trying to throw everyone around.
It could go both ways.
I feel like that's an archetype that's like on the far extreme end of the spectrum that doesn't actually exist ever in that real capacity. I've never met someone who's like,
you've never had a meathead come into an academy?
Not that thinks they're the shit. Like,
I was surprised a couple of the guys like that, they can come in and but a lot of people that come in like that, personally, I think they just have like mental problems.
Right.
But I used to teach jiu-jitsu at an MMA academy. And
the MMA crowd is totally different crowd.
Right.
It's changing though. The MMA crowd's changing nowadays too. I feel like MMA people want to train with jiu-jitsu people and like a jiu-jitsu culture more now. You don't want to train like that kind of environment instead of just like, I know a lot of MMA fighters that just go to my gym just to cross train. Same thing with Boogie's gym. A lot of good MMA fighters, they maybe train at Alliance or some other MMA school over here, and they come and just cross train with us because they like that vibe, that culture too, Yeah. So I think a lot of MMA guys are kind of going more into that like route right now.
But like an MMA guy who's actually an MMA guy who trains, they are usually much more healthy in terms of their mentality than a guy who just comes in for the first time and maybe he spent some time in jail or whatever, and he's just like, I'm gonna fight. I'll fight anybody right now. I love getting hit, bro. I've seen this shit so many times.
They have mental issues. Like that's not a normal person.
Do you think maybe they're just under my radar because I don't talk to anyone?
But have you ever spent time teaching jiu-jitsu at an MMA academy, like a real MMA academy?
No.
Right.
Only taught at jiu-jitsu gyms.
Yeah. I think it's just more common.
So MMA is sort of like a very important gatekeeper for jiu-jitsu though, because everyone who gets into jiu-jitsu saw MMA first usually.
For sure.
They see MMA and then they're like, wait, MMA, I don't actually want to get punched in the head, but I still like it.
Are you telling your own story, your personal story?
No, I mean,
I heard the story before in my own. I said it before though,
I did too.
Yeah,
I agree with it.
Everyone says that. Everyone does that, right?
It's true.
We all kind of transition. So it's like MMA is like this weird entry point.
It's necessary. Jiu-jitsu needs it.
It's like a symbiotic relationship.
And that's why I feel like Eddie is all about combat jiu-jitsu for reals. Because everyone used to always, I feel like, tell Eddie like, oh, that's not gonna be good for MMA. It's not good for MMA. And Eddie's like, well, it will. It does work for MMA. And that's his whole goal, to prove that like some of the stuff works. Nogi style works for MMA.
Yeah.
Even though some people,
that was kind of always his goal, right?
It really has been, and I mean he's gotten some good guys in the UFC that represent 10 Planet, that are high level guys right now. You know what I mean? Tony, yeah,
and Vinny too, right?
Vinny,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Calvin, all those guys are 10 Planet black belts. You know what I mean?
Was Vinny was he a black belt before he met Eddie?
Yeah, he was a black belt before he met Eddie, and like he just felt like he wanted to start he got it. Then he started as a brown belt with Eddie Bravo. And then Eddie gave him his 10 Planet black belt because it's a different system. You know what I mean? Like he got his Gracie black belt. It's like if I want to get like a Atos black belt or something, I would be like, hey, I'm a brown belt, whatever, at this school, and I'll try to get my black belt from you just to start fresh. Some people are different, you know what I mean? Like, but I feel like you just feel better if you actually get your black belt from the person you're training under.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I like that idea. Clean reset. Just like start over. Get your black belt. I think it'd be really interesting. I think it'd be cool to be just totally unknown in the jiu-jitsu scene, get really good, and then go back to white belt and just like run the whole thing back.
I feel like doing that in breakdancing.
I feel like Keenan, this is kind of like a foreshadowing to your future. Like you're starting the American jiu-jitsu movement, so now you're gonna start giving out American jiu-jitsu black belts.
To be fair, I didn't start the movement. It's something American guys have been saying forever. But I think I'm just willing to like take it one step further.
You actually put it on the label. You put it on the front of your gym.
Well, I think you're like the highest ranked guy, like the most like accomplished guy that's kind of going to that.
So
American Jiu-Jitsu.
So I have a question. So basically, Eddie did all this before. He created a totally new style.
New system.
He got a lot of shit for it.
He did? So that was going to be my question. Cause like,
dude,
he did. Yeah.
When I got into the system, everybody was like,
so who was it? Was it Brazilian?
All the Brazilians. Like, those are Eddie's. Like they hated Eddie. You know what I mean? But I think
Jean-Jacques always like kind of back.
Jean-Jacques was always like, you know, the uncle right there, like putting his arm around Eddie, like he coaching him, and you know, Eddie's his prodigy. You know, he loves Eddie. Eddie's like his number one top dude. You know, and Eddie just like. He just has such a strong personality that he's like, I'm just gonna do it. He just does it. Like anything Eddie thinks, he just like, nah, I'm gonna do it. Like he just doesn't hesitate.
He's not restricted by fear.
Not at all. He just, I know his story coming up, and he just always just like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and he just goes for it.
Yeah.
Some of it works out really good, some of it might not, but he goes for it, and that's what I respect a lot from him.
He's a good example of someone who doesn't give a shit what other people think.
Not at all.
And that's super respectable.
He has a lot of haters, and when I got into 10 Planet, I felt like we're still getting the shit that you're like, you're not even a real black belt. You're not like people. Maybe some people still think I'm not a real black belt. I don't know, you know. But I'm saying like, I'm saying there's some people out there maybe, you know what I mean?
Who the fuck?
And then
it definitely has a stigma associated with it, and I think that's been.
We don't know how to tie our belts in a gi. You know what I mean? Like, like that's what people are gonna say about us. You know what I mean? Like, but you know, I'll say this: I'll roll with the gi or without the gi with anybody. My skill level is there. The way I understand technique is there. I feel like the way I carry myself should be is like I'm a respected dude, you know, like, but people still think because I'm 10 Planet that it's not legit because it's not Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu officially. It's American Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
You know, CSW has something similar, not as successful as Eddie, but like.
What is CSW?
Catch wrestling?
Is catch wrestling is like submission grappling, you know, it's what CSW is with
catch submission wrestling.
Yes.
Okay.
It's what Josh Barnett used to be part of it, but Eric Paulson's the original creator. Yeah. I think Josh Barnett started his own American stuff now, his own side thing now that he's working with catch wrestling submission. Because you really think about it, like what is nogi? Like nogi's like submission grappling.
Yeah.
I mean,
we could have this debate right now.
I mean, like what is nogi really? You know, like.
They're debating this on Facebook right now, actually.
But really, just like the way I look at it, just like back in the day, you know, in Brazil they were doing gi, and then they're doing no gi, which was called lucha libre or whatever, you know. And
with the funny masks.
No,
I'm just kidding.
That's like Mexico lucha libre, but then there's like lucha, like LUTA. Libre, which means the same shit, same shit. So people get it confused. They're like, they think when you say that they're wearing, but they're just doing no gi. It was the people that couldn't afford the gi, like the poor people, and they were doing more no gi, and they were fighting all the Gracies. They were fighting the beach, and there was a big war and stuff like that. So to me, like all this stuff is just like the no gi stuff's already been done forever. It just now Eddie just kind of started the system, the 10 Planet system, with an English dictionary, like, you know, with English words and cool nicknames for stuff, and he named it so we could communicate.
Deathlock.
We don't do that. We do the lockdown.
The lockdown.
Electric chair. What's his face? Danaher does the scorpion deadlock.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
I was just making up words.
No,
that's a real thing.
They call that the lockdown.
Oh,
like the scorpion, because like you do a lockdown and you stretch your leg up and it makes them do like
the tail.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's like a big thing. Like Eddie didn't create that. It's not called the lockdown. It's called the scorpion deadlock. A lot of people got mad at Eddie because he renamed a lot of moves, but he just did it to start his own like system.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do that?
I've always liked that because when you're coaching someone, you can yell the name of the move, and the opponent doesn't know what you're talking about.
It's in code.
So
right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I've had to deal with that already because I film so much stuff for my website, and I'm constantly teaching moves that I didn't create all the moves. Obviously, I have like the stuff I have created, the worm guard system and the lapel guard stuff. Yeah, but I add things here or there to like the stuff I already learned. But a lot of jiu-jitsu techniques don't have names.
Right.
Like it's very limited. If you look at the names in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, it's like limited to the positions and then the sweeps from those positions and then the passes from those positions and then the submissions from those positions. But there's so many I've been calling them control points, just like different ways to control the body with a grip that isn't one of those names, like Josh's chin strap position, maybe like even the Diesel squeezle position is a control, or like 2-on-1 wrist control. Like a lot of times you just start naming things like, what is it? Well, I'm grabbing both his wrists with my hand, so I'm calling it 2-on-1.
Right. It's a description.
It's like a description, or it's like the knee cut underhook pass, or like the knee cut cross collar pass. It's like, shouldn't we just give these names, or do we just keep using these descriptive terms for it? So like I kind of am in a battle with myself where like I'll think of a cool name for it, and it's like, do I just call it the new thing, or do I call it what people recognize, which is like the descriptive term? And so I'm kind of like, I go back and forth.
It's better, I feel like, for you to create your own name. Just so it's like, even if someone else has another name, it's like, this is the way I call it. This is the way I am creating this system.
So one of the things that I have avoided doing that is because I get so much backlash from people saying so-and-so did this first, or so-and-so used the lapel.
It already has a name.
It's already been created. One of the biggest retorts I've been getting for the American Jiu-Jitsu thing is just people saying Jake Shields thought of that first. It's like, no one is claiming to have invented the words American and Jiu-Jitsu together. Like, obviously it's just the logical conclusion of calling.
The Brazilians aren't fighting over who named it Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like on the Reddit threads, on the comments of yesterday, it's like Jake Shields. Anyone who doesn't know that Jake Shields has been doing this forever. It's like, me and Jake are boys. We both rep AJJ together. Like, he has a tattoo on his arm. We've talked about it. We like fist bump at tournaments, like, what up, like AJJ.
You guys are representing together.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing that, like, this idea that there's like a race for who created what, and like you didn't do that first, or you did do that first. And so I think subconsciously I'm kind of like not wanting to rename moves just so people don't claim that I'm like trying to say I invented it because I gave it a new name.
It would be like if Gracie Baja laid claim to the term Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah. And then everyone else who used it, they're like, oh no, but Gracie Baja came up with that term first.
Yeah, it's
like,
weird.
What?
But there's just like a
shut up.
Like, people's knee-jerk instinct in that situation is just to be like, you stole that. Yeah. Like, well, no, I didn't. I'm just using it and just teaching it in my own way.
It reminds me of the episode of South Park when they're like, the Simpsons did it, because like everything's been done already, dude. Like, why are people gonna call, like, that's the stupidest thing to call people out on, like, you know, it's like, that's people like just want to talk shit.
That's like saying no one can lay claim to Kimura because Kimura did it first. So
he did it already.
But it's funny you say that, because one of the comments was from a guy. I'm assuming he was Brazilian because he was typing in Portuguese.
They just assume they're all Brazilian.
But he was saying how it's not American Jiu-Jitsu because Helio took Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and invented the guard and then used it to beat the Japanese best fighters. But like, the historic story is that they sent Kimura, the Japanese fighter, to do the fight, and Helio got Kimura. So it's like, people don't even know the history of what actually happened. And so we're at a point now in Jiu-Jitsu where we have been around it for 15, plus years. So we kind of saw everything that happened, but now there's white belts and blue belts and purple belts that have just started, don't know anything about it, but have a voice online and are speaking about things they literally just don't know. So annoying. They don't even know anything. And it's like, I'm getting all these comments and I feel like I need to respond to them or like give them an explanation.
If you could line them all up, would you roll them all up?
This is why I don't go on Reddit.
Well, I mean, it's on Instagram too. Reddit's got my back, but Instagram, it's like free. Half my followers are Brazilian. So like, they're just
tearing you up.
Yeah, they just go hard at me in the comments. The comments on my last post are half Portuguese. I can't even read them. There's no translate option. I can't copy paste to find out. I don't know what they're saying.
Too many.
I need to
would you, if you could, would you read them?
Yeah, if it was right there, I just want to see what they're saying.
It's hard not to.
If there was a translate button.
I feel like
don't even entertain them.
I dealt with that, like, worrying about that stuff a long time ago, and now it's more just like, you just keep a pulse on the community.
I think it's empowering. Like, I think it's good for people to give you that much attention. I think it's good for them to like project that energy towards you, because even though it's like negative energy, it's still energy spent thinking about you, towards you. You know what I mean? Like, that means something. You know what I mean? Like, when people talk shit about me, like a bunch of people are like, I'm like, damn, this means people are talking about me. Like, that's cool. Like,
they're at home thinking about you, and you don't even know their name.
I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
But it's funny. You know what I mean? Like, some stuff does get to you every once in a while. Like, you read a weird comment or something, and like, it kind of like makes you feel something. You try not to. You know what I mean? Like, but we're fucking humans. You know what I mean? Like, you don't feel, you're gonna read. You're like, you're right, but I fucking hate you for it. You know? Like,
yeah, exactly. I think
someone commented on my Jiu-Jitsu Times, put a picture of me, and it just said Hanger BJJ, and then someone commented 0 guard.
0 guard.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even upset about it. I don't even care. Like, yeah.
But you never forgot that comment.
I mean, I'm sure he couldn't pass my guard, but like, I just think it's really funny. Like, I don't care. I don't play guard. So what?
Yeah.
Dude, the internet doesn't upset me.
Instagram is such a weird place, man. I wish it could be used in more like productive means where people are like sharing ideas and not just judging,
just hating.
It's like so much. The internet is just so much judgment. Like people literally judge like how you look. Like,
such
they're
a
like, oh, you look fat, or like literally, we're like men exercising and like we try and gain weight or lose weight for cuts, and people are literally, people are literally say that, like, what are you even commenting on? And then you go to their profile, they're just some average dude, anyways. It's like, what are they doing? It's so weird.
Like
they're projecting their insecurities.
When I was gonna have my match with Nikki Ryan, I remember, that was like probably the most like hate like I got just between me and him, because I made a comment, like I was like, I'll smoke this dude, whatever, because I feel like that about anybody. You can tell me I'm gonna go up against anybody, I'm like, I'm gonna smoke this guy. I don't care who he is. That's just the way I think.
You're just giving yourself positive talk.
That's just the way I am. That's the way we are. And a lot of people were hating on that. And they're like, he's gonna kill you. He's a 16-year-old kid. He's gonna beat you. Blah blah. And then like all these people are talking shit like personally on my page, and some of them I noticed. I'm like, this guy's from San Diego, or this guy's from here, and I'll like personally call him, be like, dude, you talking shit? Say it in my face when I see you. You know what I mean? Like, and some of these guys I see like face to face, and they just turn away. They don't look at me, and I'm like, should I say something?
I think everyone on the internet, just as a PSA, if you are into jiu-jitsu and you have the urge to say something on people's posts, think about if you would say it if you were in class with them. Because I know when I'm talking about topics about jiu-jitsu that I know I'm educated about and I have a pretty good grasp on, people will give their input, but I know that if we're in a class situation, no one would speak up, or like, because no one has the real confidence to back up what they're saying. It's just like the internet allows you to word vomit.
Gives you extra confidence. It's like a drunk person. Like, it's like being drunk. When you're drunk, you don't care. You're like
liquid confidence.
Yeah, you're like, you'll hit on any girl. I'll fight anybody. I'll fight in the UFC. Like, I can do it. Only when I'm drunk, I think I can be part of the UFC.
That's a great comparison.
But
everyone on Instagram's drunk, basically.
That's what it is. People are drunk on Instagram.
You're drunk. Go home, commenter.
Yeah, that's what it is, dude. Like, it's just a
I'm gonna start saying that. You're drunk commenter.
You must be drunk.
I'm not even gonna say their names. I'm just gonna call them commenter. You're drunk commenter. Like, go home.
There should be like an internet saying, like when you drink a lot of alcohol, you get drunk. When you're on the internet for a long time, you get what? Like, that's the word. There's gotta be a word there. They're looking for.
Seriously.
You're fucking Wi-Fi'd out or something.
You're Wi-Fi.
You're Wi-Fi'd.
Yes.
Hashtag Wi-Fi'd.
That's
what it is, dude.
There it is, guys. Use it. Next time you see a drunk commenter, just hashtag.
And there's people that literally
Wi-Fi.
spend their whole day on the internet because like their job is like being online. Like so many people have online jobs and they're just there like working, but at the same time like trolling Keenan as they guard or something. Like,
and that's the thing too, is you can't differentiate the trolls from the people who are sincere and the people who are actually toxic, because it's like the line is just so melded that our brains try and make sense of what's going on in there, and you can't, because you don't know any of the context of these people or who they are. It's literally just text on a page.
Are you like so the weird. Ninja of jiu-jitsu?
What happened with Ninja when he?
I don't know. Ninja was just like, he just has a really strong like following, but like
I need backstory, bro.
He has a lot of haters on Ninja's like the Fortnite like I guess he got paid the most. He was the best.
You got to explain this to the listeners because they don't know.
So Ninja, Fortnite streamer, Twitch. If you haven't heard of him, he has like the blue color hair, kind of like Keenan was doing for a while. So
people are saying that.
Okay.
And but he kind of changed the game, like he did a lot of things that no one was doing yet. But now there's people that kind of like, there's like news guys, they're like better than him and shit. He's not the best number one guy no more, and a lot of people, but he's still like one of the best in the world and changed the game, and people are like just hate on him for no reason.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like just because he was the best. Just because he was the best, and people are just gonna hate on him, like there's no specific reason.
When you were once,
is he a dick?
He's just a normal dude.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He's a normal dude that's exceptional at one thing.
Really good, yeah.
And he isn't the best anymore because he brought everyone to this new community. So he came from like a professional shooter game community, and so he was the best guy in the scene for a long time. And then as everyone was like, oh shit, Ninja's killing it over there. We're better than him at shooters. We're going to go there now too. So there's like better people in it. I would be super flattered if people thought of me like that. That sounds super cool.
But you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you've done so much, and like you're way more accomplished than like all these people, but like there's still going to be a guy that thinks he could talk shit to you just because for no reason. Just, I don't know what it is that gets him off. Like, what is it? Like you're so talented, you've done so much, but like say for example, like you're doing really good and you lose one match, but you're still a beast, but everyone just talking shit about that one match.
I think people who talk like that, they've feared accountability and responsibility their whole lives, because when you see someone who is trying to do things, one of the things I've noticed as I've grown as a competitor and as a person, as now as an eventual gym owner, I see myself taking on all of these responsibilities and accountability. And it's like, it all comes down to me. If shit goes wrong, it's me. Like, I have to take accountability and responsibility for it. And as you reach that level where people start talking shit about you, it's like you're gaining more and more accountability and responsibility, and they're not doing any of that.
Kind of jealous of you.
Yeah. It's kind of like I think everyone would want to be in a position where they are like taking these risks and doing things, but it's like, it comes with such a huge weight with it.
I agree. Like, there's a lot of pros and cons with that. You know, like you're when you're on top, you know, you're gonna get a lot of love, but there's gonna be a lot of hate too. You got to get both a little bit. And I guess it's good because I appreciate the love even more now.
And and also, you're not always going to be right either. Like, sometimes you might deserve the hate. Like,
some people might not just like me. Yeah, they don't like my face or the way I talk. I don't know. Like, someone might just look at me, but I don't like that guy's face.
But there's one thing for
sure. Who told me that about you? Who was it? Seth Daniels. He said, I just hate Keenan's face.
Seth Daniels would.
He told me that. You ever listen to that episode?
I've never met Seth.
Seth is cool, man. He's super raw.
He's raw.
He just keeps it real, man. He speaks his mind, and that's that. And
he's always been super nice to me and the 10 Planet crew, and he's always... He has a lot of real. I feel like I've known him for a long time when I talk to him. Just one of those guys that's just like, I know you from somewhere. I partied with you once or something.
He doesn't dislike you. He just doesn't like your face.
Well, that's the thing. It's like...
That might be worse.
I would hope he would tell me that.
No, I think he would. He would. Yeah,
I don't like your face.
He would definitely say that to you.
I don't
but
like
he
your
wouldn't
event.
he wouldn't say it in a mean way.
No, but
Kid wants to roll.
I'm friends with people whose faces I don't like.
I think everyone's a little confused by this whole thing, because as we go to the tournaments and we meet all the people, we see everyone, are exposed to everyone. Have you ever had someone say anything negative to you in person at a tournament or at like a seminar or anywhere in public?
Think about this. No matter how much you might hate Mike Tyson, would you ever say something negative to his face?
No, and
I like Mike
That's
Tyson. A death wish.
I just like to clarify.
At Kasai, this is a random backstage story. I'm walking into Kasai, about to...
Is this the one we were at?
The last one? No, the one before that.
Okay.
Like 2 months before that. And I'm just like trying to get ready to compete. And then some guy walks in front of me with shades inside the building, and it happens to be AJ Agazam. And he just like...
wearing shades inside the building
and just get to my face.
Dude, AJ is the perfect example. So he actually got in your face.
He got, but like didn't really do nothing. He just looked at me, like
he just stood in front of you.
He just stood in front of me, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "I'm competing." Like, what are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
He asked me what I was doing there. I was like, "I'm competing." I think he was mad because he was. Oh no, actually, this was I was competing. I think he was just there, and he just asked me what I was doing there, whatever, and we just kind of talked to, like, it was kind of weird because we kind of got in each other's face, and I was like, what the hell, like, what are you gonna do, kind of shit. It was like, what are we gonna do, like, fight right now?
What's happening right now?
But I think he knew what was gonna happen because there was like all these refs and people around us, and everyone just kind of made a scene.
He knew he could talk some shit and not have to fight.
He was wearing sunglasses, a jean jacket. Like, he was not there to fight. He was there to make a scene, and then he got the mic and called me on the mic. And that's when Kasai, we did that like little Kasai thing. And I was like, this guy really just like, he just wants to start a scene, and then that's all he does. He starts a scene and then kind of
in a situation where he knows he doesn't have to fight.
He starts the scene, then leaves the scene instantly.
Yeah, he'll start the scene, leave, but before capture a picture, a video, or like make some poetry like about it. You know what I mean? Like, and then he's good. You know what I mean? Like, he has to do something though. It doesn't count unless he does something like that. And just to me, I used to kind of enjoy watching him doing stuff, and then I started kind of like being part of that. Like, now he's like against me because he started talking shit about Eddie, and I like, that's
when it got real.
That was when I was like, all right, dude, like,
it's not fun anymore.
Why are you hating on Eddie for no reason? You're just trying to get attention from Eddie and Joe Rogan, and then from there I became his enemy. But like, I just think about him like, I'm just like in my head, like, that's the kind of guy that just like, just imagine like him being at your gym all the time. Like, what kind of energy is he bringing to the gym? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like, I'm sure he trains hard and stuff like that, but I just feel like he's never stayed in one gym for a long time because I don't know if he can,
Do you think he really pushed Homelo's limits, like patience wise?
He had to.
Yeah. I mean, you hear we honestly shouldn't even give him airtime.
Okay, let's stop talking about it.
He's like pretty toxic.
Hey, you know what I need to do?
No, it's because we're just talking about toxic people, that comes right after.
I don't want to dwell on his antics though.
I'm going to shift gears because we're 1 hour into.
So who's the best guy in Europe right now? Like who came from Europe?
Gi or Nogi?
Nogi. We're only talking Nogi today, baby.
Okay, Adam Brzezinski.
Yeah, I guess he is, huh?
He won the European trials.
Yeah.
What other debate is there?
Adam is the best guy from Europe.
What's the other guy? The smaller guy that's been doing really good. He beat Gianni Grippo recently. He's kind of like a leg locker. I can't think of his name right now. He's from London. He does a lot of those.
I guess you can also make an argument for Hodger Gracie.
Well, Hodger,
I'm kidding. I'm
kidding. Bread there. Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I mean, there's a couple killers coming up over there right now, like in the UK. But last time I went out there, did a seminar. There's a lot of beasts. I went to go visit 10 Planet London. That's the crazy thing about 10 Planet also. They're literally all over the world.
All over the planet.
I could go anywhere in the world and train with some guys, and I'm lucky to be in a system like that. Like I could just do seminars for the rest of my life only within 10 Planet schools and be okay. You know what I mean? Just pure 10 Planet schools. But I like to do seminars with everybody, obviously. But, like just traveling and stuff like that, I'm sure you guys too, like, how does it feel being able just to go anywhere? You know what I mean? Like,
I talk about it all the time. I love it. I can literally go anywhere, anytime I want, and I know someone.
It's fucking crazy.
And I have a place to train, and I have friends.
People love, and they host you.
Yeah.
They get excited to see you. And
they take care of you.
It's like they feel, it's like a fight club all over the world. Like you're just like, oh, you're part of this crew.
They know.
Welcome.
The Jiu-Jitsu life.
And they want to show you like where they're from, you know what I mean? Like they want to show off where they're from. They want to show you the cool things. Like it's better than just going to a random place to be a tourist. It's like when you go do a seminar after and you get to hang out a little bit, people want to be like, they want to show off what they got, their good stuff. They'll take you to the best restaurant. They're going to take you to the best spots.
Where do you think is the coolest place you ever visited? Like the best experience you ever had traveling?
Man, I really love the 10 Planet in Koh Tao, Thailand. Because it's just like this little island.
You guys have a 10th Planet in Thailand?
Yeah, in Koh Tao. And it's like this little island that
is in the south?
I'm not sure.
I assume if it's an island, I think it's in the south.
Probably. I'm not that good with the maps over there, but it's a super cool spot, man. It's like a beautiful spot right next to the beach. It has everything. It has Wi-Fi in this crazy island. You know what I mean? So you can be doing this crazy like jungle stuff, but then in the beautiful beaches, and then there's nice hotels.
But you can still get on Instagram and talk shit.
Exactly. You can still go on Reddit, tell the haters.
You can go hate on Keenan on Instagram.
Yeah, so you always be able to talk shit. You know what I mean?
However, there are a lot more supporters of the American Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure it's like a 9 to 1 ratio.
I feel like in reality, everybody wants to like train with you, and once they meet you, they're like, it's kind of hard to like not like you. You're just kind of like easygoing. You know what I mean? Both of you guys.
I bet even your online haters, if they saw you in person, they'll probably get a picture with you. They won't tell you who they are. They won't tell you their Instagram name, but they'll be like, "Hey, can I get a picture?"
It's like to us, we think a lot about the haters and stuff. Sometimes, when we see stuff, we're like, but really like think about all the people that actually appreciate what we do, like you were saying right now. It's just like there's so many, like I said, you can go anywhere in the world and people appreciate you, not just like locally, like anywhere in the world. And there's only a certain amount of jiu-jitsu people that could do that, and like there's so many talented people in jiu-jitsu that never get the chance to do that. Why? That's weird to me.
Yeah, there's like a threshold that you cross it, I guess, at a certain point.
Well, sometimes I think some people think they kind of beat themselves up. They don't think they're good enough to go travel and that anyone would recognize them or care about them. So they just don't, so they just stay home. But
you got to put yourself out there.
But let's say, for example, Thor.
Yeah.
Right. He just kind of came up. Right. But like people would talk to me about Thor. I didn't know who he was until the trials, right? When we had that match together. But like people were coming up to me like, "Oh, you got Thor on your side of the bracket. Like that's going to be a really good match." And he had some name recognition, but I didn't know who he was. But I'm sure there's other people around the world who knew who he was. But maybe he never felt that he could go out into the world and have people recognize him or appreciate his jiu-jitsu. But now after ADCC, obviously he had this like epic run to the semifinals, and so now I bet.
That gives him confidence.
He has more confidence, so maybe he will travel and go explore.
And he's doing it more now, doing seminars.
I would imagine he is, bro.
He's legit. I train with him.
He had a great performance.
He's really smart, trains really hard, and really humble, calm.
He's a super nice guy. Yeah.
The thing about it is like, I feel like that's a good point you bring up right there. I feel like you have to kind of like accomplish something to give you that kind of confidence to be like, my jiu-jitsu is world class. I do have something people want to see. But like some people, maybe, even some people win world championships or a lot of big tournaments and they still don't develop that confidence.
Right.
And that's more about like just who they are. I feel like personality things.
Everyone has a demon.
Like, does Paulo and Yao do a lot of seminars?
I don't know.
They do them occasionally, but I don't think they're trying to stack them up. I think they just do it.
I'm sure they could do a lot, but you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, I feel like any of the guys who are in the scene that everyone knows about, you could literally schedule seminars infinitely. Like you could have one every weekend somewhere in the world, just loop it. Like it would take you a year to accomplish it, and you could go back to the place you started and just keep going.
52 seminars a year, and visit every spot once a year.
That's pretty much what I do. I have like a year thing.
What's crazy? Craig did 70.
That's what Craig does. Yeah.
Craig did that. Yeah. He did 70. He could literally just start over.
Does it burn you out like traveling and doing seminars?
Yeah. So when you're talking about like how people get to show you around, they want to like show you their place and stuff. It's really cool that they do that. But if you do like a seminar tour, it's exhausting because it's like
you want to stay in a hotel.
Right. And it's like you've met so many people at that point that you're just like, damn, am I going to see these people again? Like I can't physically stay in contact with any of these people.
Right.
You want to be like, you meet some cool ass people.
Yeah, but it's just hard.
You're never see them ever again.
You're never going to see them.
I try to take away one friend from every seminar.
The best you can do is follow them on Instagram.
So be that special guy when Hanger comes to the
then your relationship changes to where you're just following them on Instagram and you throw them a like every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's like that is your connection. But it's like you can also, because of social media, you can kind of pick up where you left off too. Like maybe you haven't spoke to them in 3 years, but you did a seminar there 3 years ago.
Yeah.
They're all going to remember the exact day they met you and what you did. And then you just like can go right back to it. So, I mean, I get burned out for sure, mostly with the traveling. If I didn't have to deal with the plane travel, I would do seminars all the time.
Bro, and if you don't sleep enough, you get sick, and that's the worst.
Yeah, you start getting sick or homesick too. You know, like you missed your bed.
Oh my
you miss
God.
your dog,
well,
your cat. You know
they
like
say
that.
They say you never sleep as well when you're not in your own home, right? You're kind of like
I believe that
60% of like quality sleep of what you would have at home because you're not in your natural environment. So
but if you're homeless,
your brain is staying on alert. Yeah, but then for sure they have
definitely tired all the time.
More. What's that stress hormone? Cortisol or cortisol?
Cortisol. Yeah.
Cortisol. For sure, they have their cortisol levels high all the time because you have to be on alert because you know it's like
that's why homeless people sleep in the day because it's safer. So they can relax more in the day because
and now you gotta be alert.
They have the population walking by, kind of making sure they're okay.
Right, no one's gonna fuck with them in the middle of the day.
If I was homeless, I always say I'll be living at the beach.
That's a good point. I never thought of that. That too.
I'll be chilling at the beach because, like, I mean, the beach is just, especially over here in SoCal, it's not that bad, you know. It's weird because I live near the
restrooms.
Beach. Public restrooms, showers.
Right, you go jump in the ocean, wash off.
Yeah, you know.
Well, I think the problem is you're literally persecuted for that by the law enforcement.
You're shamed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. But it's weird. You know what I mean? Like, I see certain homeless people camp out in certain spots and they never get messed with, and there's homeless people over here and they can't even chill. It's like what's
okay?
People don't even really. People don't know what to do with homeless people.
Right. They try to push them into the next city.
They don't even. Yeah.
They do that.
They literally do that
in Irvine.
They literally hire buses to take, and then they'll give them some money to leave.
Bro, Irvine, they do that. They drive them up to Santa Ana and drop them off.
It's crazy.
Santa Ana and Irvine are right next to each other, but they're polar opposite, different. And Irvine's super, super nice, and Santa Ana was kind of crap.
There used to be a homeless guy in Hawaii who trained at
Hawaii's probably nice to live in when you're a bum too, right? Or
you literally just eat bananas.
They can't get rid of you.
Yeah,
part of the island.
No, well, what's funny is there's a community where I grew up in Hilo. There's a community of them, and they all lived at the same park, and it was all the same dudes, and you recognize all of them. There's probably like 30 of them, and they just chill this one park. Yeah. There's just free fruit on the trees everywhere.
That's crazy.
And they just sort of hang out.
Yeah.
They all have like a bike that they have put together, and they're just have their little thing they're doing. They just don't have a house.
Cool. Shit. Some people probably prefer to live that way, like off the land, and just kind of there's some people that really, I can't say I'm one of these persons, but you know, I done psychedelics before and stuff like that, and I got to a point that I'm like, man, everything around me is fake, except Mother Nature. Everything literally around me is fake. Even the clothes I wear, the shoes I wear, you start seeing things like that.
That's the DMT experience, huh?
But dude,
that's what everyone says.
But even mushrooms, even mushrooms. Like I remember having a crazy mushroom trip and just like looking at or being in my backyard and just like looking up and like hearing the electricity run through the wires. I'm like, man, I'm like surrounded by this shit. I can't be free in nature. And I look at the floor and there's like concrete. I'm like, this is not even real dirt. You know, like I'm like, where is nature?
Right.
Yeah, dude. I had a moment like that yesterday in the car, and I wasn't on shrooms. And I was driving, and like my phone notifications kept going off, and I was so busy the other day because I was like getting stuff for this set. I was like going over to the gym, trying to accept deliveries and doing all this stuff and like managing all these things, that I was literally just glued to my phone all day long. And if I didn't have my phone, I couldn't have done any of the shit that I got accomplished.
Right.
But it was like literally, might as well have just planted it on my eyeball and
It's
just like kept it there.
now.
And it was like I was using it for like directions and like orders and like talking to people and like giving directions to this and this and this. It was like such an extension of my body at that point. I was like, holy shit. At a certain point, this is just going to be in my brain, so it's faster. Well, and then it's just the tipping point.
When you become connected to man and computer combined.
Well, that's what Elon Musk was saying on the episode with Joe Rogan. He was like, look, you don't think of yourself as a cyborg because the phone is not implanted in your body; it's in your hand.
I felt like a cyborg yesterday.
But if you were to implant that sucker into your chest somehow, then automatically you're a cyborg.
It's gonna happen. It's meant to happen, and you'll be better off. Like humans, we're gonna be better off.
We'll be more productive, but I don't know if we'll be better off.
The problem with Keenan,
it depends how you use it.
Yeah,
you could be like better off because you're gonna use it like you're gonna have something that tells you it's time to eat, it's time to do this. It's, like just imagine like taking care of your health.
But at that point, it's like we're just a robot.
But aren't you doing that with your phone in a way? But you're just asking it.
No, it's the same. That's what I'm saying. It's literally
you have the choice to do it or not. You know what I mean? That's the only way we're going to be able to keep up with AIs.
Keenan needs the phone implanted in his body because his finger function is such shit that he can't type.
I can't type, man.
He's always mistyping. His fingers.
That's another thing about Gi and Nogi.
His fingers are fucked up.
It got so much worse recently because now I have astigmatism in my right eye. So I fucking look at the text and I can't see what I wrote. It's like kind of blurry. So
you have to get a special phone.
Yeah, I just like feel it out and then I send it. I'm like, then I see it later. Like, fuck, I messed up again.
So,
like,
hey, do you guys get mad at your students for giving you like handshakes all hard? Like giving you like
if they grab the fingers, if they do it, they're too short and they just grab the fingers like this. I fucking hate it.
I just hate any kind of handshake that like. I'm just like
crush the fingers.
After class. I just want a nice soft handshake. I don't want none of this like I'm meeting your mom and I'm a good guy and I'm a man. Kind of squeezing shit. For real, dude, because I get pissed off, dude. I had to scream at somebody.
Why are you squeezing my hand?
Dude, because my fingers are sore. You know what I mean? Like, people are pulling it and stuff. I can only imagine for Gi guys, You
got a jammed finger and you squeeze it?
When my fingers are sore, I refuse to do the handshake. So depending on what people are handshake, if everyone's handshaking, I just fist bump it. They have to switch. If they keep their hand open, I just freeze right back. Like if you don't adapt to this, I'm just going through.
You're just going to jam their. You're gonna give them a finger injury.
Well, you have the weird handshake, dude.
No, I have to just fist. Sometimes I have to say it. I have to like affirm, like, hey, I like fist bump.
My fingers hurt
because people aren't looking. They're just kind of going. But I hate this one when you go and it's like you're moving fast. Open your hand. And like a finger gets caught, it's like God. You're like have a loose finger slipping out. You're like, oh, that one did not feel good.
The Carlson Gracie handshake is super annoying.
What is that?
You know the Carlson Gracie handshake? Okay, put your fingers like this, Gio.
I can't even see
now turn your hand sideways more, and they lace all their fingers together like that. We're holding hands. It's kind of like. Yeah, like this. This is the Carlson Gracie handshake.
To leave class, you do that,
and everyone does that in the lineup, and you have to hit one after the other.
It's not even good for your wrist, bro. It's like.
It's impossible.
I feel like you need a lube up before you do that.
Bro, it's impossible to do correctly 30 times in a row.
On there, slip it in.
You train for an hour and then you got to line up and you got to hit that 30 times in a row. It's impossible.
That's like a gang handshake. You know how like gangsters have handshakes?
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. Like there's always crazy blood handshake.
Like, well, then there's the disengage too, which is the most awkward part of them all.
When someone doesn't let go.
I'm moving this way and you're moving this way, and then
you get stuck.
You have to retract and then re-engage for the next person. And you're just doing this all day. And I've always tried to just be like, can we just fist bump, please? It's so much more efficient.
More sanitary.
It's just like bop, 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 bop. You can just run through the whole line without any thought. That's how.
It's always weird to like when my students come in because I want to say what's up to everybody. I handshake people. You want to greet them and say, hey, what's up? Like when you're running the dojo and stuff, and like you have girl students too, and like. Sometimes I don't know the girl or something, or she's new or something, and like they come up with like a hug or something, and you're like, should I give her a hug or should I just give her a handshake bump or like?
Oh my god!
You get put in weird situations because you're like, like she's seen me give this other girl a hug, but this girl's been my students for like 4 years, 5 years, and it feels more like family. This girl's like been here for like maybe a month, and
she's just trying to fit in. She just thinks like she doesn't know
her,
what's going on.
But you're like you don't feel right either, like hugging her right away. You know what I mean? Or or like just weird situations. Like running a dojo, you have to kind of find the line, you know, between those kind of situations. Because how many guys are like, they see a girl like, hey, where's my hug? You know, me and my girl always laugh at that. Like in high school, you see a girl like, hey, where's my hug? You know what I mean? And like same thing, you see guys at the gym, like you see a hot girl or something, they're like, hey, where's my hug? You're like, that guy's a fucking creeper. You know? Like,
right. If the hug is wanted, it's cool. If it's not wanted, you're a creep.
Right. You know, if you know the person and whatever, but like when you got to ask for a hug, like, where's my hug? You know? But it's like, that's always been weird to me. Like, you know, so lately I just been kind of like, just kind of like handshake bump.
You intercept the hug as it's coming in.
Yeah. Just like high five kind of thing, you know, like put your hand up. There's like high five.
When I was in Mexico, I was trying to shake hands with the women that I was meeting. But yeah, you got to do the kiss. Like, you got to do the cheek kiss.
You have to.
It's standard issue. You have to do it.
Go.
That's hard to just even in America with all the Brazilian girls in jiu-jitsu. It's like they kind of like come at you like this. It's like I don't know your culture. I honestly don't know what.
I'm Mexican. If I know you're like super Mexican and you're from Mexico and I know you kind of, or I know someone, you know, like we're like someone's introducing us to each other, not just like a random person I'm teaching or something like that. It's like I'll do it. You know what I mean? Like because this is how I grew up. Like my family, like all of them, I would meet this person and hi. You know, you go to France, guys do that to you.
Dude, they never had EKC. You get and then eye infection, you're not touching faces.
And then when do you know? When do you do one cheek and two cheeks?
It depends on the area. It's like
two cheek is like super happy to meet that person. I feel like one cheek just like, hey.
What if you do one? What if one person wants to do one cheek and the other person tries to do two?
You gotta
they get ghosted, bro. Awkward as like fuck. You got rejected.
I mean, just saying hi is super. It should be natural, right? Like before you're gonna be able to like you know how we're gonna have like technology in us. You don't have to handshake or anything. You just like them, like or a handshake. You know, like it's just like ding,
bro. You know what they do in New Zealand? You know what they do in New Zealand? You rub the end of your noses together.
That's
a little too far.
Abu Dhabi too.
Yeah, you rub the nose together. You guys come together and you rub the nose.
I got a little big nose, so like at least we got a little distance.
Yeah, the guys who train in Abu Dhabi that do jiu-jitsu that have come here. And they've seen me in Abu Dhabi before. They'll come in for the nose bump.
The nose bump. That's what it's called.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you shake hands and do the nose bump, or do you have hands down?
I never have voluntarily done the nose bumps, but there was one situation where the guy was like, Keenan knows the nose bump because everyone was making fun of him for the nose bump.
Sounds like
rape. And he wanted to nose bump me to like show that I knew what was up with the culture, and I was kind of like, what? And it was like someone kissing you without your consent. But it's like okay for them to do, but it's just uncomfortable in our culture. It's just like, what is happening?
Or like, imagine a guy from Mexico coming over here and just like some random like white girl or something, and she just like, hey, how's it going? He just comes and gives her like a kiss, and she's like super put off, like, oh my, like, can she press charges?
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like
sexual assault, dude. But she didn't want that.
But then she didn't want that. But like, then again, like, why are you so uptight? You know what I mean? Like, there's the balance between both. There's guys that are just like, they love going to Mexico because they're gonna kiss every girl they get a chance to. They're just like,
it's the culture.
It's culture, right?
Yeah, it's the culture. Some cultures slapping ass is okay.
I don't know about you know, like I don't know.
Baseball culture,
maybe.
Baseball
culture, sport culture.
I don't know. I wouldn't let my coach do that. You know, you let your coach do that to your kid all day and shit. You're like, all right, dude, that's calm down with that, because, dude, nowadays, like, you know who the fuck to trust.
Right. So is that acceptable? Is it acceptable for baseball coaches to slap the ass of teenage boys?
I think now it's changing because of the internet. Again, it's just like everyone's getting on the same page. It's like everyone's kind of just like adapting to the middle ground of all of this stuff.
It's scary because then you hear all these like things that came out already. There's not even a conspiracy. It's proven, right? That like the Boy Scouts, like they had a big freaking scandal with pedophiles, or like you know, the church, Catholic church, everyone knows about that big pedophile scandal. Like, you know, Eddie's always talking about this stuff, and definitely people get overwhelmed with it, but a lot of it's real shit, you know, and it's out there, and you're like, you know, like you start thinking about all the football team, basketball teams, baseball teams you've been in, and all stuff, and like how many people, you know, who do you know who to trust?
Bro, what about that big scandal at Penn? It's Penn State, the wrestling coach?
Yep.
Right? Remember that like 2 years ago?
I didn't hear about
it. They made the movie out of it.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
He was just the guy that pretty much is like a millionaire that just like bought like all this land to have like the best wrestlers, but he was just obsessed with all these guys.
Foxcatcher.
Foxcatcher. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah. What was that guy's name?
I forgot. DuPont.
Yeah. Wait, is this Ellen Alan, right? Alan's our Jamie. So we have pull it up, Alan.
We're easing him into the role. This is our first time with
John DuPont.
Yep.
Yeah, DuPont. But can you look up who was the Penn State wrestling coach?
Dustin Dusky, wasn't it? Oh, Penn State.
Sandusky?
That's for
Penn State, the guy who got, I think. I remember they even took away his NCAA title or something.
Yeah.
Or took away his statue.
I heard about that one too.
They took away something that he had
Jerry
earned.
Sandusky.
Sandusky, yeah.
That's crazy though.
He was molesting boys.
All these people respect. You know, I knew a guy at our high school. He was a high school like track coach, and he was like a famous track coach, and he ended up, you know, like admitting that he had all these scandals and all these like, you know, he was guilty. You know what I mean? And you're like, this guy is like, was a coach at my school. I could have trained under him, kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like, and this stuff happens all the time. So it's like, what's crazy?
I got a story when you're done.
No, I was just gonna say, what's crazy, that stuff could happen in jiu-jitsu, and it has happened in jiu-jitsu. How many articles you read recently? They're like this black belt.
Oh yeah.
But it's always with the girl students. It seems like
For the most part, it is.
yeah. So
underage girls
in the male dominated sports like wrestling. I mean, are you really seeing that as often? I don't know.
Right.
And is it like come down to their sexuality? Like, is it more accepted in jiu-jitsu because it's like the girl likes the alpha male of the gym? It's like a weird thing because there's
or like people justify like, oh, she's 16, but like in Mexico or somewhere, 16 is legal. You know what I mean? Like in other countries is legal.
Or
Brazil, whatever.
Mississippi is 16 is legal.
The overarching rule is just like if you're in a position of authority and someone is underneath you and in your domain of control, you can't.
It's not acceptable.
I mean, obviously underage, of course, unacceptable. But even just you're the same age, but they're just below you in the hierarchy and they're there to learn from you. Obviously, they're going to view you as this like, you know, God
You're on
figure.
a pedestal.
You're on a pedestal, and like that power that you have, you cannot take advantage of it because they're just going to be like, "Oh my God,
it's got too easy too." If you do it just too easy, and you kind of just feel like a scum, you know what I mean? Like you're like it was just too easy kind of thing, you know what I mean? So yeah. I feel like there's a balance. There's a balance to it, you know what I mean? Because like I met my girlfriend that I've been with for 5 years. She was training at 10 Planet West LA. We never cross trained or anything like that. I just met her through friends. We went out together.
You were never her instructor.
Never her instructor, but she's trained before and stuff, and I'm sure she knew a little bit who I was, you know. But we weren't sitting there talking about jiu-jitsu. We were talking about like dancing, music, movies. You know, jiu-jitsu was just something that she knew I did, but it wasn't what she was attracted.
You guys just had a lot in common.
There was, you know, but then I felt before I had my girlfriend Sarah that I've been with for a long time. It's like you feel the people just like they just know you're good at jiu-jitsu, and they kind of like that about you, and they want that, like they see you on that, you know, pedestal because you're a black belt or whatever, or you're teaching class, and they kind of want to be a part of that, or they want to, I don't know, like it's kind of weird how people are attracted to that.
I mean, but it's normal to admire someone who's really good at something that you also enjoy doing.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Like what if you're an artist? You're just like a really good artist and someone really likes art and they're attracted to you because...
I mean, that's like down to the actual psychology of human evolution. It's just the status hierarchy. If you're at the bottom of the status hierarchy, you'll always be attracted to someone who's above you in the status hierarchy because it elevates you.
And you can respect someone that worked hard to get to like a high position. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that person had that's attracted to me. Like someone that like accomplished something because you see the work ethic or how like passionate they are about something. Some people are attracted to that too. You know what I mean? So someone that sees they work hard for their black belt, they're some of the best grapplers in the world. They run a school, they do this and that. People could respect your hard work too. You know what I mean? Like that's attractive.
Right. It's an admirable
Alan,
quality.
Could you open that door?
Right.
Get some air in here.
Yeah.
Or even out the window, maybe.
I had a story
Not
before we get sidetracked too much. When I was playing soccer as a kid, I remember we had a team meeting.
Did you get beat up?
No. But I remember we had a team meeting and I was probably like 10, 11. And even, I think the parents were even there, but all the kids were in the living room sitting in a circle and the coach is sitting on the floor and we're talking, and he was wearing, I'm talking about soccer, like football soccer, right? And he's wearing those really short shorts that soccer players wear. And I remember he was sitting with his legs, like one leg kind of like a figure four.
This was the coach?
This is the coach, right? Coach of the team.
Balls are hanging out?
And one of his nuts was hanging out the side of his shorts and he was rubbing it with his finger.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was like this. He was sitting here and he had his hand on his lap and he was scratching his ball.
Right in front of you?
Yeah. And
you were looking at him?
I was straight across from him and I saw him doing that. And I was like, and now it was a circle. Like all the other kids could have seen it. I don't know if they did. And I don't think he even knew that I saw.
Maybe he did know that you saw.
I think he was
might have been
talking,
giving you like a little
a sign,
like trying to slowly see if you how you reacted.
He was just putting it out there.
Because I seen those. I heard those situations when people are like they're doing stuff like that.
It's called grooming.
Everyone could have seen it.
How old are you when that happened?
I think I was like 10 or 11.
Yeah,
like I was old enough to know that. Like I was like, what the fuck is he doing? How is he doing this? He knows it's out because he's touching it. So obviously he can feel himself touching it. So he knows what he's doing. Obviously it's exposed.
There's some weird shit going on.
So there's a room full of kids.
That's what I'm saying. There's some that's what I'm talking about. Like,
and his son was in there with us. He had his son on the team.
Doesn't mean shit.
And I think the parents were like just off at a different angle.
Don't spend a night at that kid's house.
Yeah, he was putting out the ball feeler, bro.
Did his dad have a sleepover? Like I'm saying, like that's the kind of shit. Like we're gonna have a sleepover after class. I'm gonna have pizza, or after soccer, I'm gonna have pizza. We're gonna watch Ninja Turtles and play NES. I'd be like, fuck yeah, as a kid. But think about how easy it is to put yourself in those situations and not knowing what the fuck you're getting yourself into. But it's like you can't live paranoid either.
Well, that's the problem too with bringing it back to jiu-jitsu and the abuse of power in jiu-jitsu. Is it's very easy for someone, say Josh. Josh is
I don't want to be the
You're
example.
a desirable.
I don't like where this is going.
You're a desirable young fellow. Right?
I'm not young either, motherfucker. I was the second oldest person at ADCC.
Wow.
I'm old.
But think about this. So you have someone approach you on Instagram. And
that never happens.
She slides into your DMs and it's just like a big fan and she likes jiu-jitsu and she wants to come train or something. Or maybe you're in the same city and she wants to hang out. And do jiu-jitsu. Maybe she wants to learn from you. Maybe she wants to actually just like meet you in a totally platonic way.
Right.
If you have a history of like being okay with those situations and then pursuing it, at what point are you like, is she in a situation where now she has her idol that's like thinks that it's something that it isn't and is making aggressive moves on her and she doesn't even know. She doesn't know how to react. It's just like, oh my, what the heck? Like
I think Louis C.K. shit.
Yeah.
Like Louis C.K.
Is that what happened with him?
Like remember the guy?
I love that guy.
He was like
the comedian. Yeah.
He's so funny.
He was just sitting down. All these girls are like, "Oh my god, Louis C.K. You just killed it out there," kind of shit. You know. He goes in his back, chill room in the back. They're just hanging out. The fool just like these girls are there. He just like. He
whipped it out.
He pulled it out and stuff, and none of the girls left or nothing. And he just starts like just masturbating in front of them. That's something he gets off. That's the shit. He just like
there was a group of them.
There's a few girls there. Like he just thought he was gonna hook up with these girls, and just like they were all over him. He thought
it was a time for a menage a trois.
Right, and the girls are just like they didn't do nothing till after. Then after like months later,
they're talking shit.
They're like. Press charges and pretty much ruined his career. Like he had a TV show that was coming out that got canceled.
Really?
In a movie, and it was about this guy that masturbated in front of girls too.
Really?
That's what the movie was about. How weird is that? You know what I mean? Like, but then again, like you got to be careful with that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like
maybe he was method acting to get ready for the role.
Who knows, right? There's some excuse that he just like there was like the way I heard it from some people. It just seemed like it was like. Kind of like the girls wanted to be a part of it, it was like, but then now they flipped it on him. Like it was kind of like what you were saying right now.
Yeah, because it's just you can't ever know what's going on in someone's brain, so you have to conduct yourself in a situation where it's like that's why we have society. It's like we set the rules of what's okay, but the second you like deviate from that and you start taking advantage of your power, and it's just like, oh shit, I can just like get these babes all the time because they like want to hang out with me, and then I just am aggressive with it. It's like that's the problem,
right?
So in defense of Lewis, I'm just gonna play devil's advocate.
And then that happens in jiu-jitsu gyms as well. Like
if you invite
the white belts,
if you invite someone to your room and they come, I feel like that's another level of like what can happen is okay.
I can see what you're saying. Like, well, that's
if you invite someone into your bedroom, whatever happens in that bedroom, assuming it's not like an assault, like a physical assault, I feel like you really can't be too.
What
mad.
if they ask for assault? Like,
well, some of them do.
Like, punch me, and you do it, and you're like, man, this is like the best shit ever. And the next day,
this is getting weird.
The next day, you get a phone call and shit from the cops. And, so I heard you beat this girl in right there or whatever. They're at your front door. You're like, fuck. You know what I mean?
She wanted it, I swear.
That's the thing too. Is like a girl could be like,
oh my god.
All right, so
install cameras in your house, bro.
There's something recently that happened. I don't want to say any names, but there's like an article online on the jiu-jitsu community. So a good black belt out there that some girl says that he pretty much took advantage of her. He came over to the house, was aggressive, tried to take advantage of her, and
he went to her house.
Yes, something like that. Like she invited him or something, and then she made a big old post. She made
Yeah,
a
I
big
know
old
the
post.
story you're talking about.
And then
Is this recently?
You know the story too.
Do I?
Yeah.
it got swept under the rug real quick.
Yeah.
So it's like, because he was proven not guilty.
Right.
I'm friends with this guy. I don't know if it's true or not. I hope not. But you know, the thing is, like, I know there's some girls out there, they're willing to stir up shit just for the sake of stirring up shit, you know, for whatever. Maybe they want something to get out of it.
And this is just people. Yeah, people.
There's some crazy people out there, man. You can't deny that. So how many girls could easily be like, this guy took advantage of me and you didn't?
Right.
Like,
Which-
what do you do in those kind of situations?
Well, the real thing is just for your own protection, you have to be safe and not do that. And
That's
not
the thing.
conduct
That's
yourself
the main
like
thing.
that. And only be willing to engage in romantic situations with people outside of your
Right.
authority group so that it's a level playing field.
Or else you're playing with fire,
and
right?
then you have to do it by the book. You got to take
By
them
the
on a
book.
date.
By the book.
You got to take them on a date and you got to have like,
Keep it official.
you got to have the paper trail over text message. So it's like, we got all this. There was lead up to this. It wasn't a one and done thing. So like if you're in a position like a jiu-jitsu instructor who has white belts that are constantly fawning over him or like want to be around him and hang out with him, and you just start like taking advantage of the situation, it's like, it's going to get out of control and bite you in the ass. And you have the potential to hurt other people at the same time.
It's
So you're
happened
hurting-
already millions of times,
Yeah.
right? Or hundreds of times
Exactly.
already.
So I have some dating advice for the jiu-jitsu world now.
Yes. Okay.
If you're a female who's attracted to a male who happens to be in a position of authority over you or in your domain, you should probably be the aggressor and make it very, very clear. If you have an interest in him, you have to make it
So
very
pretty much he's telling you to make it
you
really hard.
You have to make it really clear to him that you are romantically interested. You should probably just say that.
No, here's better.
not gonna
Here's a
work.
better advice. If you're attracted to someone that's higher than you, whatever, jiu-jitsu, work, or anything like that, you probably shouldn't. You probably should be looking somewhere else instead of this person, because he could take advantage of that easy.
Right.
You know what I mean? They might not.
Well, then you're looking into like, man, maybe some people like the dominance of it. You
A lot
know?
of
It's
people do.
People
A
are
lot of
just
people
so
do.
people are just don't even know what they like. It's
Right.
like so lizard brain. You know, it's
Right.
just built into you. You can't even decide what you like. It's just what you like.
Relationships are complex.
Yeah.
You know, being with a girl, being in love, being in relationships, complex. You know what I mean? Like
That's
that
the
shit.
truest statement ever.
That shit is difficult, complex, and you know, it makes us feel all sorts of ways. It makes us feel really good, but then again, really fucking crappy, really weird. Really, you know, all these weird emotions that come out of us. No matter how hardcore, how badass, how much of a player, how pimping you are, it's like we all have these weird ass things that we got to deal with, that we're born with, inherit. You know, these weird traits that sometimes we don't even know what to do with them. I don't know what the fuck to do sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just going off natural
His instincts.
yeah. And sometimes those natural instincts are like
Those
caveman.
get you in trouble.
You know, like that happens all the time. And just like,
I'm sure that's what a rapist tells himself too. Like, yeah, these are just my instincts. I can't deny. This is my
you
biology.
gotta rewire that shit, dog. Like, some people need to rewire their brain, because some people,
That's a fact.
Well, you got to eliminate the genes from passing on if they truly believe that that's the genes. Like,
Stop
sorry,
that
that
shit.
doesn't work anymore.
we got to eliminate you
You're
from the gene
eliminated.
pool.
I saw something recently. I just have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Is murder always a life sentence or the death penalty?
no.
Depends on the circumstances.
But like a severe, like the worst.
premeditated.
There's been
Premeditated.
murder, or
Are we talking premeditated or no? Or,
Yes,
or
you
crime,
thought-
or
you-
crime of passion.
That's what I don't understand is why is a crime of passion? If you're angry in the moment and you kill someone, why is that a lesser crime?
if you kill someone like self-defense or something.
Isn't the person who is angry and kills someone? No, say like a domestic dispute.
Okay.
The girl kills the man or the man kills the girl in the relationship. Like, why is that less of a crime than someone who thought about it and like planned it? Isn't the guy who's like explosive and doesn't really have control of
Can't
himself,
control himself.
more dangerous than the calculated guy who tried to pull it off? Like,
Okay.
I would say they're both equally
Okay.
dangerous.
yeah, it's like
Okay.
yeah.
No, I got a
But the-
situation for you though. You ever seen that movie with Samuel L. Jackson when he killed the guy who raped his daughter?
Snakes on a plane. Yeah.
No.
No, what was his name?
No, it's like Time to Kill or something like that. Or
It's like an older movie.
it's a story about the trial.
Okay.
But like his daughter was raped, and he killed the guy who raped his daughter.
Okay.
Like I don't feel.
You should go to.
I don't.
Right.
Yeah. I think at the end of the movie he was
Moral
he was-
justice.
He was acquitted. Yeah. But like I can see you can like temporary insanity, man. Someone kills your child or rapes your child, and you just lose your shit and go kill that person. I 100% sympathize with that person.
Right. I guess so. It really just comes down to the situation. The jury assesses it, and they just think about it like that. Okay,
Right.
It's just hard. My brain.
It's easier to frame when you talk about someone's child, right? As opposed to like, oh, your wife cheated on you.
Right.
Well,
it's not a blanket statement for each crime. It's like things change.
I mean, arguably, you could say if your wife cheated on you, you were probably a shit husband or something like that. Like, and maybe that's like you're not innocent completely, right? Maybe she.
You got cheated on, like you still shouldn't want to kill someone and be like,
no,
whatever,
for sure. I'm not justifying murder. No,
get another person. You know what I mean?
Guys, I am not justifying murder.
Let me show you how to do this. Rear naked choke. Can you imagine if the general population knew how to properly do a rear naked choke? I was
There'll probably be some murders.
I was talking to my girlfriend the other day, and we were watching a movie, and the guy did the rear naked choke wrong. I was like, how do they always get it wrong? And she was like, for sure they do that on purpose. You can't be teaching people how to do rear naked chokes. And she doesn't even train jiu-jitsu, but she was just thinking about it. And I was like, holy shit, you're right. Like if the average dude only knew a rear naked choke, it would be his go-to weapon in like a fight, and he could easily kill someone.
Yep.
If they learned how to do it properly.
So easy to kill someone with that.
They probably have like legally, they're not allowed to do rear naked chokes properly.
Maybe.
If anyone thought about it, or maybe people don't know.
Maybe they really don't know how to make.
Thank God they don't know how, because if it was common knowledge, the most lethal of all the submissions in jiu-jitsu.
But they show you how to shoot a gun. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like they're doing all this other crazy shit.
But I think people don't know that a choke is, they should know. It's strangulation. Yeah, it's like just as dangerous as a gun.
I just watched a movie. Oh, the Will Smith movie.
Was that good?
Yeah, it was okay. I liked it.
It seemed kind of stupid.
I liked it. But in Mexico, let me just another shout out to Mexico, bro. You go to this really nice movie theaters, 2 tickets for like the couch chairs, you know? Man, $12. $12 for a new movie in a really nice theater with like the VIP couch.
Over here it's like $12 a ticket.
Bro, it's like $20 a ticket.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So yeah, but I saw them do a triangle choke in the movie, and
I feel like now a lot of movies are throwing like jiu-jitsu in there and stuff like that.
All the Keanu Reeves movies, right?
They got big.
John Wick, he's always doing jiu-jitsu moves, right?
Yeah, because they train with that Studio 8711 up at. They're actually all sponsored by Hyperfly,
right?
And they have.
Go ahead, give a sponsor a shout out.
I think one of Jean Jacques. One of Jean Jacques' students is the black belt there teaching those guys.
Yeah, and so the Machados and stuff. They teach.
Machado.
Who's the other brother? The Hegan. He always teaches the
Hegan. Yeah, huh? Hegan and pretty much Jean Jacques are the main active ones.
Right.
But yeah, all of the stunts in all the main action movies today come out of that studio, and it's all jiu-jitsu inspired. All those guys are blue belts and purple belts, and all the stunt.
I heard Keanu Reeves really trains with them. You know, he really puts them on the mat time or whatever, just to develop some kind of technique. I'm sure he's not like rolling his ass off with everybody, but you know, he knows some good technique.
I remember back in the day, the Lethal Weapon movies, man, and Mel Gibson did the triangle choke in the Lethal Weapon, like way back.
Yeah, I remember that scene.
Remember that?
Yeah, it's old school. Have you guys ever seen like I hate watching like old like videos online when like people actually really get hurt and there's actually like real like fucked up shit that happens in the world and it's captured on video and
like live leak like videos.
Yeah, like stuff. Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be that crazy, you know. But just even on YouTube nowadays, you can see some crazy shit. You know what I mean? But like maybe a year ago, I seen this video. I'm sure you guys seen it. Like I think they're in Brazil and this guy like literally chokes this guy out to death, just kills him. You know, I didn't know he was gonna kill him. He just holding him forever.
Just kept holding it
forever, and then after he's done, he just like, dude, it's just like you could just see this guy's life just go out, you know, and he just kills him. And like this was a raw video in Brazil, and it's like I don't recommend to go watch it if you're like.
Actually, Keenan once told me we were talking about live leak videos.
Okay,
live leak videos are those videos where you can watch someone die, right? And
back in the day, like live leaks were the only ones. Now it's like everywhere.
Yeah,
so Keenan told me, he's like, you warned me one time. You're like, bro, don't go watch these videos because it fucks your head up.
It does.
Oh yeah, it's like.
And I never did. I took your advice, bro. I never
atrocities that save you forever.
It's like it's like a accident waiting to happen, and you just like it's gonna happen, and you can't look away, dude. Once you start, for me, it's fucking hard.
You're feeding the demons though. Like we all have that demon inside. Don't give him more food for thought.
Yeah.
You know, don't let him. Don't have those things in your brain. Why do I need those images in my brain circulating in my subconscious while I'm sleeping?
I try to avoid them as much as I can. Honestly, like every time I watch a video, I'm like, why the fuck I do that to myself? Or like an animal cruelty video, I can't. That's harder for me sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I don't know why, but that shit just
because animals are so innocent.
Dude, I can't even get through like gym accident videos.
Yeah.
Like where someone's knee
hyperextends
or
like breaking stuff.
Yeah. They even the ones where there's a whole compilation of guys deadlifting and passing out at the top of their deadlift because they just tried so hard and then they just like
They
I can't even watch those.
Or
Face plant on the weights.
Yeah, I can't watch any people getting hurt.
There's so many of those videos online that's like, even when you try to avoid them, like they just like pop out.
The funniest thing that I don't understand is I can't watch someone get heel hooked. Like if I see someone getting wrenched, I can't watch it. But if I put someone in a heel hook and I'm in a tournament, I'll break their shit. Yeah. I'll watch the whole time. Break their shit the whole time. But I can't watch it on video.
That's weird.
Even when I'm like, even if I'm doing like a commentary or something on a live match or like at ADCC, it's like, oh, I can't watch.
Oh, bro, when I was watching Fiona crank on Bia's arm,
yeah, I can't watch that stuff.
I was looking away, but I had one eye. One eye was looking.
Only one eye. Why do you only have one eye, right?
Because I can look away quicker at the last moment.
Yeah, I couldn't watch when Tammy got her arm broken by Michelle Nicolini that time.
Is it a Kimura?
It was the Wings of Victory armbar. So she had both arms and
behind her back.
This one behind, and Michelle's over here and broke that way.
Dude, Michelle is a savage.
Dude, just
I think she's the GOAT for females.
I think. Have you guys ever broke anything like during jiu-jitsu?
Just pops, a few pops, nothing clean breaks.
The worst injury I've sustained in a jiu-jitsu match or in training was against Vinny. When
that Metamoris, huh?
He got that deep inverted heel hook on me. I
remember that, bro. I did the one eye look at that on the TV.
I don't know what happened, but it crunched my foot, dude.
Yeah.
My knee.
Foot.
Well, no, my knee. I have like hypermobile knees, I guess, but my knee twisted and I felt it dislocate and lock back in place sideways. And then when it got to that point, it just stopped, and then my ankle started twisting and something snapped in my ankle. It was like 6 months to recover. I just taped it and kept trying to train, but like I would come in and I would feel okay, and then just something would happen. I just had no stability in it, and then I had to take off for a while.
Go ahead.
I had a really awkward knee shifting feeling when I fought Arnaldo in Fight to Win. I was trying to pull my leg out, like so I was kind of stretching my knee, and he was twisting it and hyperextending it at the same time.
Yeah,
and I felt something kind of twist out of the socket, but then kind of go back, and
that's so weird, bro.
It was awkward. Yeah, it was super. It felt really weird.
Do your knees ever pop out? Like, I know a lot of guys that play leg locks and their knees would lock up. They're like, hold up, my knee's locked up.
Oh, that's a meniscus problem.
Yeah, a lot of guys have that.
I had that on my right knee.
I used to get that every time I did a mounted triangle. I'd mount triangle someone, be there, and be like, stop, I gotta put it back in place.
The cartilage is moving around.
A lot of my guys they play leg locks and their shit's all like that. I'm like, oh. They just
gotta go in there and like clean up the cartilage. They just kind of snip it up and clean up the torn pieces, and they can do it just like arthroscopy, you know.
That
like,
probably happens to a lot of jiu-jitsu guys when their knee locks up. That's a common thing. I think a lot of people think it's like a rare thing, but it's really
it's
common.
super common.
Yeah,
super common.
So what do you do?
You got to go get the arthroscopy, where they just kind of put two little incision points in your knee, and they go inside with a scope, and they just basically find the torn piece and cut it out. And just make it clean, you know.
You don't need your meniscus.
You don't have a full surgery.
It's like a flap, you know. It's like flap.
Is it considered like a surgery?
Most knee surgeries now is just done through like 3 entrance points, and they just freaking snip. And
you guys have a bunch of surgeries or what?
Never had any.
I had arthroscopy on my right knee, but they just meniscus, and they cleaned it. It was locking, you know.
Right.
It was a wrestling injury from high school, and then I started doing jiu-jitsu and I started doing triangles. And
but like wrestling, like usually a lot of accidents happen through wrestling. Like when you're trying to wrestle and stuff. Like one of my buddies, you guys know Chris Droz. He was coming out to follow me.
He's your right hand, huh?
Yeah, he's my homie. I know him since middle school. We kind of grew up together and stuff. But we're rolling. He was helping me get ready for EBI, the first one, and we're just kind of like he ended up standing up, and I was like behind him, just trying to like get him back down, mat return him. And as I brought him down, like the floor was just super slippery, like the final round. You know what I mean? Like literally the week of.
And the mats are all sweaty, all
slippery, and this guy he just slips and landed on his leg wrong, and his tibia and fibula broke in half.
Snapped
right there.
Shit.
You can hear it. He was like, oh my god,
like celery snapping.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was just like he didn't. Like, he's like, oh, he didn't really like make that big of a deal. Like until he found out what it was, kind of, you know, like
until he looked at it.
He just couldn't get up, and we're like, fuck. Like it was just like. It just sucks when anybody has to go, and especially when it's like my best friend.
Right.
Like I did it, you know, while we were rolling and stuff. It's like shit happens like that. We both understand. He's back on the mats. He's been training hard. It was a couple years back, but you know, like it's hard to come back from injuries like that, and to bounce back after stuff like that. It's like mentally hard too. You know, you have like a metal rod in your leg for the rest of your life.
Yeah, seriously.
I know some people that haven't recovered from their knee injuries mentally.
It's like trauma.
You're afraid. You're afraid to go hard. You're afraid to train hard, and that's that. And like. Yeah, some people lose that competitive edge.
What do you deal with the most common like injuries, like knees and neck, probably, and shoulders?
For Keenan, neck.
Neck, me too. I think I got neck injuries from breakdancing, though, not even from jiu-jitsu.
I bet you do, bro.
From like head stuff, you know?
From spinning on your head and
lot of B-boys, like to me, breakdancers have it so hard. Like, I don't even think people realize how hard they have. I don't even think they realize how hard
I
they have it.
respect the shit out of breakdancers.
Because you're battling in this underground scene.
That shit hurts.
You're going hard on concrete. You get barely any recognition, barely any money.
Sometimes it's just
you're
cardboard.
grinding. Imagine what we're doing, but getting nothing out of it much. Like, you know, like we're grinding our asses off every day, doing all this stuff.
But there's a time where we were grinding, got nothing either.
Right.
It's just like.
But even at the highest levels, like the B-boys don't make it that well.
Oh, really?
You know, even at the highest levels, there's like
what's the goal?
Handful.
What's the goal for a b-boy? Like what's
there is no end goal.
You could be can you be a backup dancer for Usher?
That's small time. Like my good friend, you guys know him, Flowmaster.
Yeah, I saw him at ADCC.
Yeah, I was just training with him last week.
He's cool as fuck. He's such a nice
He's like
guy.
an old school b-boy
Yeah.
and a locker, and he's been in the game for a really good dancer. I think he's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
He's
yeah. I
good,
trained with him like 2 months ago.
Yeah, good striker and stuff. Good chill. He's just a super cool guy, and he's in great shape. He's to me one of the most successful dancers like in the world to this day, and he travels and does seminars all over the world like we do, and he teaches and stuff over here at some local gyms in I think like Orange County over there, and he's actually Usher's backup dancer. You know, he goes on tour with him and does that. Like he's his number one dude. He's homies with him, and you know that's pretty much it. You do movies and stuff, some movies, but it's really hard. Like
It's a hustle.
you got to kind of like. I hate to say this, but you got to be like almost like a monkey. Like whatever they want you to do, you do.
You got to do it.
You're not like making your own rules, you know.
I think they should take the same route that jiu-jitsu guys take and just like open studios. And try
I
and
thought
teach it
some
and
people
build a
do.
culture.
There's one of my buddies, Raw Skeleton. They call him Raw Skeleton, Jason. He's in Colorado, and he teaches out of the school called the School of Breaking. School of Breaking is like a school, like a studio, a breakdancing studio, and it's doing pretty good. They have a lot of like more like teenagers and kids and stuff like that. But like people are doing that, but it's difficult because there's no actual blueprint in the b-boy world.
I know of one in San Diego I've heard of called
Culture Short or 4 maybe.
I heard maybe it's a smaller one. I follow some guy on Instagram who I saw one time. I think it's called Break 58 or something.
Yeah, Break 58. One of my homies, Nico, runs that.
Yeah, he's the guy I follow.
Yeah, I know him since he was a little kid.
He's good, man.
I know, like he was good as a little kid b-boy. You know what I mean? Like I remember him coming up and just like being like the little kid, and like there's this other little kid. They used to always battle each other and stuff, and like he was just always like a humble, nice kid, and he worked really hard and developed a really good, strong. We used to battle him all the time. He used to battle against us, and kind of like he got into the trick power style that we were really big on because he knew like to keep up in the battles over here. You had to have some of that. You can either go for like style and dancing foundation, more like a flow master, or you can go more like the tricks flow style
Power moves
and power
just
moves,
like,
and that's kind of
almost
the
like
route
gymnastics.
he went.
It seems like at that point.
With parkour and tricking and stuff.
And I don't know anything about dance or breakdancing, but I do see the divergence of like the people who have the rhythm from like the dance aspect and the people who have the power moves. And then sometimes when they have to like get into like a step or something, they're offbeat. It's like a little awkward. Right. So I can see it's almost like guard play versus guard passing. It's like you can't really be the best at both. It's like pretty difficult.
But you want to be well-rounded.
But you want to be well-rounded, yeah.
You know, like the ultimate dancers, they're winning the big battles, are the ones that are well-rounded. They could rock the rhythm, the beats, and then they could do some power moves.
Dude, I really love when it's like a group of guys and they incorporate each other into the breakdance.
Like a routine.
Well, I saw one. It was absolutely insane. The guy literally was windmilling down a ramp of humans that they had created.
That's Morning of Owl from Korea.
That's so insane.
The crew is called Morning of Owl from Korea.
Dude, they're like all dancing and then they just form into a ramp and the dude jumps up over the back of them and windmills down their bodies then onto the ground and then continues this crazy power move.
That's fucking gnarly.
So they do like, all right, so it's like they call those routines.
Is that on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They call it's a famous video.
Alan, can you pull it?
we don't have the screen capture set up.
Oh, dang it.
Okay, it's called a b-boy routine. It was by Morning of Owl. So just look up Morning of Owl b-boy routine. And this will probably pop up because it was like the most famous one that went viral. The guy that goes in the ramp is like the short guy. He was a little like younger at the time. He's really short.
I think I follow him on Instagram too.
His name is
B-Boy Pocket.
Pocket.
Yeah.
It used to be called Pocket Rocket, you know, because he's just like a little rocket, like, you know, like he just explodes and stuff. So he's like probably the best powerhead from Korea right now. And
it's big in Korea, huh?
It was. And like what sucks about the Koreans is like they become like the best in the world. Like one generation was like the best at one point, like a couple years back, like early 2000s, and then all their top guys had to go to the military because that's everyone in Korea has to go to the military and do some
2 years, I think.
2 years. Some of them do 4 years.
Yeah.
So other top guys leave and then they come back and they're not good no more. They're not the same. Like the same past them. You know what I mean? And then like what happened, Korea kind of their strong generation faded away, and there's not that many big crews as there used to be. Now the best place in the world, believe it or not, it's like kind of like the Russians, like Russia and Ukraine.
Really?
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that.
Out of nowhere, they came up, dude.
The Koreans are pretty good at it.
Are you still switching the video?
The Koreans are pretty good at like becoming obsessed with something and becoming the best at it, right? Like, don't they kind of dominate the video game world too, right?
I think like the
least
Taiwan, right? Taiwanese, they're like the ones that are really strong on like those
Am I wrong though? Didn't the Koreans dominate StarCraft?
I think Koreans are strong
right?
too. Yeah,
Alan gives me the nod.
StarCraft and League of Legends.
You play StarCraft, Alan?
Yeah.
Nice. I like StarCraft. I suck at it.
Those
though.
Korean guys are just like, I feel like they're super technical. They're like machines at one point. They're doing shit that no one's ever done. You know,
They
like,
do
what
that
the hell?
in all of their activities too, because like they're judo guys, they're wrestlers, they're jiu-jitsu guys.
Yeah.
They're all badasses.
Yeah.
Shout out to Korea, the South Korea, right?
And
Yeah.
there's a 10 planet in Korea too.
Yeah, we got an Autos in Korea.
I've had some good training when I went to
think.
Korea, and
Maybe not.
you know how you go to a gym in
Probably.
America and it's like you're gonna roll with the black belt, and it's like they're not really tough, man. They're just
Right.
like they just got their black belts from being there. A lot
been
of the
chilling
time.
on a
They've
long
just
time,
been
yeah.
there. But in Korea, dude, you roll with black belts. It's like they've been training hard. Their
They
whole
earned
time.
that shit.
Yeah, it's not like they don't go to jiu-jitsu to like hang out and shoot the shit and maybe do a couple of rounds. They're there to train.
Oh yeah.
And that culture it's fun for a competitor to go to because you have more to work with in the actual seminars and training and stuff. You can kind of see what people are doing a little more.
Do they throw the spider tournament over there in Korea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a big one coming up. I don't think I can do it because I don't have time to train just yet because my mats aren't down.
Yeah.
It's November 21st or something. It's $100,000 prize. It's
Oh, wow.
the biggest,
What?
Yeah, biggest prize in
Jiu-jitsu.
It's
history.
invitational.
Yeah. Invitational, yeah.
They never invite me.
Kynan's doing it. I think Leandro's
They
doing it.
love Kynan, huh?
They love guard players. They love Jamil.
That's why they don't call me because I
Yeah.
have zero guard.
And-
I was supposed to have a super match over there with them at one point.
You should do it. It's an awesome production, and the Spider
Yeah.
guys are super cool, and it's like a super legit ski brand. Their ski gear is awesome. I was sponsored by them for a couple years, but they only do patch sponsorship. So for Nogi season, they don't really sponsor anyone.
Yeah.
Do they make skis like?
They make the ski wear
Do
and
they-
athletic
They
wear.
don't make boards or anything.
I don't know, but
I see them. They make a lot of random stuff, right? Like
yeah,
backpacks, everything, pretty much.
like outdoor athletic equipment.
Yeah,
They make.
it's
Alan-
good quality too.
Alan, is that the video?
Yeah.
He's got it.
See right here, and then pockets coming on top.
This was so crazy,
He rolls. He does a windmill.
Hey,
There-
and then onto the mat.
so smooth.
Yeah.
It's like someone pulling off like a smooth flying
Bro,
triangle.
that's
or something,
amazing.
you know? Isn't it? You can follow that guy on Instagram.
And he's gonna take off his shirt, I think. And this, I don't know if he does.
Like while he's windmilling, he's gonna
Yeah.
take his shirt off.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking badass.
He's so tiny.
And then he
Look
goes
at him.
slow. I think he slows it down a little bit, or goes faster. One of those two. Oh yeah, slow.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's some of the most amazing.
But see right there,
physical movement.
everyone called
Right.
him a biter for that move right there, because that move's been done already. The slow motion halo
Really?
like that. It was like an old school famous move from B-Boy Crumbs.
Isn't that how dancing works though? You just like
But
do
like,
your moves that you know.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you can't copy a move that someone was known for. And it's just like someone like to me it's like that's whack. Like someone literally was known for like in the early 2000s for doing like that slow motion halo, and then he just like he'll do slow and then just speed it up, boom, boom, boom. And like no one was doing that at the time. No one's mixing their turning their like their energy up and down with I mean a little bit.
speed.
It's like gears. Like you have gears. Like,
Right.
same thing in jiu-jitsu. You don't always want to be in one gear. You're switching up and down. Same thing in dancing. You're switching your gear up and down, you know? So like a lot of people don't realize that either, you know what I mean? So
That's weird, man. I would think that it's okay that you take a move that someone else did and you expand upon it, like in jiu-jitsu, you know? Like,
Right, but
yeah, but to completely rip it off.
well, it's a different competitive field because they're competing against each other for who can look cooler.
I guess originality is
and
the
do
key.
the move, and it's who is more original.
Yeah.
So literally, it would be like I don't even know what the comparison would be in jiu-jitsu, but
Well,
because you're looking for just the win.
originality is
It's the equivalent of like winning by points or playing the boundaries. You know, it's like you can do it, but it's kind of like, damn, you won that because you didn't even try and do jiu-jitsu. You
Right.
just
Or
played
like
the
making a
boundaries.
rash guard and someone makes the same goddamn rash guard just with a different
Yeah.
name on it. Or like a painter, you know, like
Dude, I saw man, one of the guys who was designing logos for the Matburn podcast was ripping off some other artist I saw on the other day. Like 3 of his art pieces were directly stolen from another guy who I had worked with who did the Legion
That's
logo.
why. That's a biter. Like,
yes.
How can you appreciate
Noah,
that?
Dude, I called him out on Instagram. He didn't respond.
Hey, but see how whack is that?
Super whack.
So same thing in b-boying. When you see someone do that, they look at it that way. They're like, "That's freaking whack. That's my move. I created it." You literally, I created moves that no one's ever done, and they're literally my signature moves.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a few moves that no one still could probably. Maybe there's a few guys out there that bit my shit, but there's a few. There's a
Bit
few
your shit.
when people bite your shit, you go like this.
Yeah.
You go like this.
You bite it?
Like this. Right? So it's like people literally bite your shit, and you would tell them that, you know what I mean? And you copy my stuff. So it's like, people will be like you have your signature moves that you do that you only do. You know what I mean? Like it's weird. It's hard. It's a whole different world in breakdancing.
Dude, a guy came to my seminar. I was in Charlotte, and a guy came to my seminar, and one of the black belts who was pretty tough black belt. He knew what he was doing. We rolled a little, and he was one of the more like vocal guys, was asking a lot of questions and like talking to me a lot. And we took a picture, like a little selfie together after we trained. And then a week later, I see our picture show up on an Instagram thing, and it's me and him sitting there, and it says the guy's name, and he's like, Worm Guard seminar this day. It was like a week after he had organized a Worm Guard seminar, and then used the picture of us as if I was like endorsing him.
Oh,
like he
shit.
knows his shit. Cause I just took the picture. Like I take a picture with everyone, and then he used it to be like, I'm like certified.
It's a false endorsement.
Yeah. And so you got to defend yourself on that stuff and be like, listen, I don't like, we just took a picture.
Yeah.
This guy probably doesn't know what he's talking about. Don't expect to learn my Worm Guard.
That's fucked up.
I had to say it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's one of those things. Maybe he just didn't even think it was a big deal, because in Jiu Jitsu, it's like we have a really open teaching policy and open things. But I felt like taking it one step further and like using the picture like you're endorsing it is pretty crazy.
That's not okay.
That's biting. You know what I mean? Like
that's biting, right? So
Biter.
just
don't be a biter, man. Be original and like.
Don't be a biter.
But even with jiu-jitsu, like Eddie was original. That's why he stand out, because he created an original system, original style. Like us, our foundation in 10 Planet is Eddie Bravo, 10 Planet. But me and my brother created the 10 Planet Freaks. I mean, we're not biting necessarily Eddie. We're just kind of adding to his system. You know what I mean? We're adding our own flavor, our own originality, our own style, our own mentality. It's just who we are, because every individual is unique and different. So I really believe that.
I think a lot of people don't realize that, though. When someone says 10th Planet Freaks, they're specifically talking about you and your brother's brand of 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu.
All the 10 Planet Freaks came up from me and my brother. Like they trained under me and Boogie.
So if you're just talking about Eddie Bravo, it's 10th Planet. If they say 10th Planet Freaks, it's a reference to you and Boogie.
It's our chapter. No,
it's a good one. It's your chapter,
right,
in the book of 10th Planet.
Right.
Yeah. And
Eddie always said that. He just like, you and your brother have your own chapter in 10th Planet. You guys already did your job. You guys represent it. You guys could do whatever you guys want right now. You guys are always going to be in the book of 10th Planet, and that made me feel good, because you know what I mean? Like that's why I'm so loyal to my master Eddie, my teammate, whatever you want to call him, my professor, because he's done so much to open up so many doors for me that I honestly wouldn't be doing a lot of shit if it wasn't for him. Or at least I wouldn't believe that I could be doing some of the shit that I'm doing because of Eddie. He gave me that confidence. And Eddie's always been there since I was a white belt, giving me these kind of confidence. Like there's something here you can do if you pursue this, you know, giving me these opportunities and giving me ideas that I can make it out here through jiu-jitsu. That like I didn't believe in that before. You know what I mean?
I feel that way about Andre. I didn't really believe in myself until he kind of made me believe in myself.
That's important.
Keenan too. Keenan, you said nice things to me in my early competitive career that really kind of helped encourage me.
What gave you the confidence, Keenan?
Who encouraged?
You're just winning everything.
No, because I lost for a long time, dude. I only started winning stuff probably like 6 years into training, but I was still competing a lot, losing a lot.
Yeah.
Someone asked me that, like, how is it common for world champions today to have lost a lot in the past? And I said, fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know what gave me confidence was learning how, like, what it takes to actually be physically fit and in shape. And
did you have a good mentor?
Man, I'm not really. I haven't really had very good mentors over the years.
Who got you into martial arts?
My stepdad.
Is he still kind of?
We don't really hang out as much, but we're still cool. But
was he there like a mentor when you were kind of coming up?
Yeah, for sure. Like I moved out when I was 16 just to like do my own thing.
Right.
Not because it was like bad or anything.
That's what Keenan does.
I just dipped out to like live down the road and try and do my own thing and make it on my own, even though I just like go home for dinner all the time.
That's called the prodigal son.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But I've always been the type of person that like, I think I value everyone who's been a part of my journey, but I also know that there's a lot more to learn from everyone than there is to learn from one person.
Right.
And so my goal has always been to travel and train with as many people as possible to learn as much as possible. And
You're a student of life.
And I think that is what gave me the confidence, because I've seen it all. I've been to all the gyms. I've been to all the countries, trained in all the countries, trained with all the people, and I know what's out there. And that was what gave me the confidence. Training with like, when I was a brown belt, training with guys like Leandro at Abu Dhabi and seeing how I did against them and seeing the difference in levels. And I've been like super pragmatic, I guess. So it's like, if I can do well against that guy, then it's like, oh, I'm here. Like if I did this well against him, I'm here. To do a little bit better, I've got to like do this, you know? And so it kind of gave me just a level to base myself off of.
That's smart. I feel like I like to do that too, like kind of gauge myself with other people. Like when I roll with high level guys, that's why I like to go to autos and cross train, because I know there's a lot of like high level guys and IBJJ guys and ADCC guys that I might never compete, because I'm always doing submission only stuff. So just going there, I'm like, all right, I feel like I could play this game too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Stuff
like that. Like cross training is good. Like a lot of people always ask me like, coach, is it okay to cross train and stuff like that? I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, go cross train, because that's what I did.
That doesn't make you a traitor?
Well, to me, there's difference between like,
it's a hot topic on the internet right now.
Like I believe you can go train with anybody, but like, it's like, if you don't, it's like a cat. Like this is like a cat. Like my students are like cats. Like I'll feed you, I'll take care of you, I'll make you feel good, I'll open the door, let you go out, run around. If you don't come back, that means you don't want to be with me. You don't love me. You're not happy with me. So why am I gonna want someone to be with me if they're not even happy? They don't even appreciate
the
me.
Fistful of sand. The tighter you squeeze it, the more it falls out. You kind of just have to let it sit, and some will fall out, but most of it'll stay if you just give it.
When some falls out, you can't cry about it either.
Yeah.
I like the cat analogy.
Eddie always told me that too. He's like, he asked me once, he's like, hey, do you get mad when your students leave you? How do you react like that? And like, a student leaves you, does it bother you? I was like, it kind of does, but like I try not to. And Eddie's like, that's good, man. He's like, because it used to bother me a lot back in the day, you know, when students leave me. But after a while, you start realizing you can't control that, and you gotta just accept
it's just your ego too, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Just like
it really is.
Like you're inadequate, maybe, like why people leaving. It would be the same thing if like a good friend leaves and you're like, damn, like
you're hanging out with them now.
Yeah, it's like you were my buddy, man. Now we
or like
really
a girl. It could be like a girl.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like a girlfriend. Do you really want your girlfriend to stay with you if she doesn't want to?
It's just a lesser form of rejection.
Would you let your girlfriend go hang out with other guys? Just to hang out though.
Just friends?
Yeah.
Just friends.
I think it depends on the situation.
It doesn't bother me.
One on one.
Yeah. See, some people even bothers them for their girls to go hang out with like a guy friend or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle. I'm not gonna lie, I'm Mexican. I got a little bit of like who you hanging out with? I don't know. But if it's like someone I know, you know, we're all like whatever. If it's just some random dude that I never met, I'm like, I don't know about it. Can I go hang out with some random ass girl? You know, probably wouldn't be a good look. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like
it depends.
It does depend.
That's the answer.
And you gotta be mature about shit like that too. And same thing with like relationships with your students. Like you know, I don't own them. I don't own my girl. You know, you guys can do whatever you want. I'm not your gatekeeper. You know what I mean?
Their choice. It's just you have to be aware, and they have to be aware that their choices affect you as well. So like if you want to act a certain way, I'm going to act in a certain way as well. That reaction might be to not be with you anymore.
Right.
And one thing it's kind of funny. The whole trader thing, it's literally just cultural, because that's only a Brazilian idea. I think like you can't be a trader because you don't want to do business. You don't want to be a client at someone's gym anymore.
Right.
Like, I don't want to pay anymore to be here. Like what?
I'm going to drop the hammer right now, dude.
Okay.
Because how is it that if you change teams, you're a trader, but you can change your country and you're not a trader? You know what I mean? How is it you can be born in Brazil and come to the US and become a participant in the United States, you know, economy and culture, and you're not a trader? You abandoned your country, but changing teams makes you a trader.
Well, that's why the whole people get defensive about the Brazilian. But the whole Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu idea, I think people are kind of scared of the thought that maybe they're losing control of like what Brazilian jiu-jitsu is. They want to have
well, the
that.
mistake is,
like you said, the more they're holding on to that sand,
Yeah,
the more
lose
it's losing.
the mistake is to think you ever had control.
Yeah.
Yes.
You never had
The
control.
sand never belonged to you.
Boom. There it is, man.
Oh,
That
shit.
sand never belonged to you. It belonged to the fucking beach and nature.
Or
Just because you grab a handful of it doesn't make it yours.
here's my thing with this, because like everyone knows me, my brother, like we're known for being like loyal dogs. You know what I mean? Like that's just who we are. It's just like in our nature. Like anyone that looks out for me, I'm gonna look out for them.
But that's the thing.
for the rest of my life.
Is like that loyalty is reciprocal.
Right.
You're all not going to be loyal to someone who's not loyal to
No,
you.
it goes both ways. Because like I'll be stupid, right, to be loyal to someone that's not loyal to you. It's like we're not idiots. You know what I mean? Like you gotta be careful for that too. But like, for example, like the Freak Show, like that's my crew that me and my brother started together. We have a legacy we build with a bunch of awesome dancers, and people know us and respect us. We developed our name and our gimmick and who we are. It's not really a gimmick, but like kind of our image. You know what I mean? Like the Freak Bros. You know what I mean? But you know, like it'll be weird if I started representing this other dance crew out of nowhere. If I was just like, I'm part of we'll just say a random crew. I'm part of Rocksteady crew now. You know what I mean? Like I'm still kind of the Freak Show, but I'm more Rocksteady crew because whatever. Like, how do you think my crew, the Freak Show, is gonna feel? Like I betrayed them. That's just natural, no matter what. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna be like, man, this fool was my brother.
We're going to have to turn away from that one.
My bad.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I could look at it. Like I'm playing devil's advocate again. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
of
like
course.
it's like
it's good to play devil's advocate.
that's my crew right there. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
those are my brothers. Like we sweated, we cried, we laughed together. We do, you
Bro,
know.
it's like if you have a family, you have a wife and kids, and you're hanging out with another family all the time. Like
people are gonna get jealous.
your wife and kids are gonna be like, "What the fuck, Dad?"
That happens. So there's different
Come home.
situations.
I'm cross marrying. I'm just cross marrying.
I just kind of want to try both things right now.
Yeah, there you go, man.
But that's how it
It
is.
just depends.
You know, it just your situation is important.
It would be different. I think it would be different if maybe you're giving a lot to that person and providing for them,
Well,
and then they kind of just like dip out to get more.
I think the difference is you're paying for a service,
Yeah.
right? You're paying for a service. Like, so family is not really a service purchasing industry, right? You're not paying your family for their service.
Right.
You're paying a jiu-jitsu instructor for their service.
They work for you.
They
man.
work for you. And
If you don't like it, you have the total
You're not
right.
paying
and that's the
to be in a
problem.
crew, you
this
know?
is the problem I
It's
had with
different.
Kron's statement. Kron said, his team was his family. So of course loyalty is important. That's your dad.
Right.
It's your dad and your uncles. So yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
He probably wasn't paying for his training either.
yeah.
So it's really, he can't relate to anyone else.
I was like in a weird moment when I was like, I want to start my own 10 Planet thing. I want to do something like Eddie did, because Eddie's John Jock Machado, but he's not John Jock Machado Academies.
Right.
He's 10 Planet. And that's why Eddie blew up the way he did, because he created this outlet that allowed him to do whatever he wanted.
Completely new team.
Right.
Yeah.
Something different, right? To be himself. Something that people were attracted to, where the location he's in California. Same thing with me. I wanted something like that. So I was like, I don't want anything that I'm trying to like I still respect Eddie so much that I want him to think that I'm trying to like step on his toes or something. You know what I mean?
So that's like, I'm doing the same thing right now.
Right.
Like I'm taking that same path.
No, I'm gonna
No, what are you talking about? I'm literally creating a place where I can do whatever I want. That's the whole point.
because his students still register under John Jock Machado. Like I'm gonna
do they? It's not like
They're still 10 Planet. My guys are still 10 Planet.
I was going to use JT as an example.
John Jock.
Okay.
JT went off and did his own thing, created his own team, Essential BJJ. But when they compete, they still compete under Autos.
Right.
You kind of did you're completely separating. You separated yourself from Autos. And
Okay, so I'm taking it one step further. Like, but also I didn't separate myself.
Well, it's because like
you were ejected.
I was kicked out.
You were ejected.
ejected.
I couldn't have been Autos even if I wanted to be. But I think that is a difference between the American culture and the Brazilian jiu-jitsu culture. Is it's like in the Brazilian jiu-jitsu culture, it's all about that like legacy, or like what is it called when you have your like the black belts before you and the black
Lineage?
belts? The lineage.
Lineage.
It's all about like the lineage and like progressing down that lineage, and it's
Right.
always like going back up towards the top. Everything's about going back towards the guy who started
everything.
it. But in America, it's like kind of the opposite. It's like I'm an individual and I'm going to be my own lineage.
You want to start
And
your
it's
own
like,
chapter.
I want to do my own thing.
Or
and
your
like,
own book.
I'm not going to work towards that guy's dream who I didn't even know. Or
Right.
like, why am I doing it for this? I never had a personal connection with that
Like,
person.
I
I'm gonna do
always
my own
find it
thing.
weird when people, I know people probably gonna give me shit, but like when people bow down to like a random picture.
Pictures. Yeah.
This is what I got in trouble for.
Like, what's that guy again? Who's that guy again? Like,
That's why Keenan got in trouble.
where?
I made a joke saying
That's where the whole conversation came from originally with Craig Jones. We were talking about the pictures.
I made a
Okay.
joke saying that like when Helio's pictures in a gym where I go and film to, sometimes I'll put his picture face down so he doesn't have to see my. I was
Right.
basically calling my jiu-jitsu like
Right.
blasphemy. I was like turned out so he doesn't have to see my.
It just felt like a
lapel guard.
religion almost, like holy,
Yeah.
like the picture of Jesus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you see Jesus and you gotta kind of like respect this like man-made picture of Jesus. You know
And
what I
if
mean?
you don't,
Like,
if you don't respect it, the people who do get mad at you.
right.
And that's
Well,
what happened. They got mad at me. For,
if you don't
for
do
not
it, you're a
respecting
devil
their God.
worshiper.
Yeah.
you know, you're antichrist.
Yeah.
That's what you are in jiu-jitsu. You're the antichrist.
You know, that's funny because some people have said that to me, have made that connection. Like Andre was Jesus.
Yeah.
was the Antichrist.
Because you're like, because
Yeah,
you at
very
first
opposite.
when I first met you, or before I even met you, like the image I had of you is like the golden American jiu-jitsu boy that got accepted by all the Brazilians. You know what I mean? Kind of like because you're really good at gi jiu-jitsu, and that's what they love. So I'm like, this guy is just like they love it. Like, you know, you're the golden. Like I thought you were going to
That's
church every
true.
day.
Keenan
You know what I
is-
mean? I
yeah.
thought Keenan was going to church every day.
Flew too close to the sun.
Yep. And then the wings melted.
The wings melted, fell back down to earth.
Guys, I just want to bring up the fact that we're beyond 2 hours now. Right, Alan? We're over 2 hours.
Oh wow.
Let's wrap it
You
up.
guys want to
Then.
wrap it?
Yeah.
Gio, you want to go ahead and give your shout outs?
You know, just shout out to all 10 Planet freaks out there. I'm at 10 Planet Oceanside. So if anybody wants to come and check me out, come through. Everybody's welcome. We have no politics at my gym. We have free open mat every Sunday. So if you just want to come through and just pure rolls every Sunday, and we get guys from school or from all over San Diego County, all over California, actually. So come through. Other than that, shout out to Phalanx, my sponsors. You know, they always have sick gear. I know there's a lot of cool sponsors around. So you should go out there, check them all out, see which one fits you the best. And other than that, freaks don't sleep.
Oos.
And let's when my gym gets going, let's do like some team cross training.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Like we'll like bring a van up or down. And
Yeah, dude, that'd be
dope.
perfect.
I used to do
Can I
stuff
come?
like that.
Yeah, you could come too.
Thanks.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
What's up to Keenan?
I just want to give a little announcement that I'm no longer with Habrock Sports.
Okay.
We broke up 2 days after ADCC. They
Sorry
said
to- sorry to
they
hear
said
that.
you didn't get gold, get lost. I was like,
Damn.
all right, I'm out. No, I'm just
Or
kidding. That didn't happen.
The contract expired.
No,
more likely.
no, we had an amicable ending, and it was just time to move on. So
That's cool about jiu-jitsu. We don't have contracts. We just kind of like,
sometimes
well, if you're smart, we don't have contracts.
Keenan has a contract.
What is my contract?
And this is a really
You
good
don't,
contract.
telling me you don't have a contract with Hyperfly?
Oh yeah.
You got a contract.
This is a really good.
Jiu-jitsu though. Not
Just in general, I guess. But if you have a nice contract, you know what I mean? Like, and
There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, here's the thing. Like, it comes down to accountability. A contract is really just you're both accepting. You take accountability
Right,
for your
right.
actions. It's not
but
like
you know, you better sign that contract knowing what you're
you
signing.
got to know what you're saying. Yeah.
So, anyways, my primary sponsor is Grab. CBD Distillery, promo code Josh10.
Yep.
Anyways.
I have some sponsors as well that I have to shout out. Hyperfly always has my back, more so than any other sponsor I've ever had. Actually, they stuck with me through some hard times, like when I've had serious injuries that have kept me out for a long time.
It's not easy to keep Keenan around.
Or maybe there was a time where I was dealing with a lot of depression.
Yeah.
for like a good year.
Get out of here.
Yes, dude. I blame Autos. The
I'm just
Autos.
kidding. No, actually, I remember you talking to me about it. Yeah.
I like the environment I was in. I didn't realize that.
It's good you acknowledge that too, though. You know,
Don't talk shit on my team.
No, I didn't mean to say I blame
you.
Autos. That's not what I meant. But I meant while I was there, I was going through a tough time and I needed a change of environment.
you got to be honest.
Yeah, it wasn't the environment. It was that I needed a change of environment, and they've always been super cool to me. And they've let me like work with them closely on the gis to make something that I really like, which I think is super important. If you're going to be serious with a sponsor, you really need to like their stuff.
Guys, can you make the lapels a little longer?
No, I don't want my lapels longer. I want that shit tight. Can't grab my sleeves.
Okay, you want the cheater gi?
Yeah. So Hyperfly, and I also have a CBD sponsor, which is Timeless CBD on
Oh,
Instagram.
shoot.
Yeah. Those are my only two
CBD
sponsors.
battles.
All day.
And then my gym is opening up in around 30-ish days.
That's exciting.
I'll have the mats. The mats came today. I'm going to go check them out right now.
Have you set a grand opening date?
No, because the construction, I'm still waiting on permits to actually put up walls to like do a different area because I have like a whole side project in there that I'm doing.
You're gonna have it over here? Mesa?
It's on Miramar Road. Yeah.
Oh, Miramar.
Yeah, 7550 Miramar Road. People have already started showing up trying to sign up because
Really?
yeah. So the contractor texted me today. He's like, "Hey, some people have been stopping by and leaving their numbers."
You need to put sunshine on that little podium in front of the gym.
something out.
Put on those shorts.
Yeah. So yeah, it's happening. It's pretty crazy for me. I meant to ask you about that on this podcast, but maybe next time we'll have you back.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you about like what it was like to open a gym,
Cool, man.
which we could do next time. And then we'll have a Smash tournament. I'll set it up on my TV downstairs. I played my friend for the first time. The last time I played him, I just demolished him.
Yeah.
And I went to his place in Texas and I played him in the new Smash.
Ooh.
And he had just gotten so much better and he had learned all the moves. And I was just like,
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
behind, dude. I got
Gotta get back
rusty.
on track.
I got to learn. I got to go relearn how
He's
to play.
evolving just like jiu-jitsu, bro. You're still playing. You're still playing Spider Guard over here.
I got left behind.
We're doing the Worm Guard over here, bro.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Yeah. But that was a great podcast, Gio. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
You're-
seriously.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. I felt like it went by fast.
It always does.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It always does.
Good conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Great topics as usual. And thanks to Alan for
Yeah.
mixing over there, handling the audio and helping us get a little bit more of a legit setup, which it'll keep improving. And once the gym is open, I'll have a podcast studio there as well.
Wow.
Awesome.
So thank you guys. That was the Matburn podcast, episode 20 or 19.
19. Episode 19.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
Thanks
All right,
for
guys.
coming,
We're out.
Peace.
Peace.